I supposed to do anything else?
But the little Pokemon girl dancing?
Oh no, I didn't mean to put that there.
Oh,
It's
I
supposed to
saw
go in
that.
the
I'm
other
like, is
chat. I
that?
don't know why it does that.
I was like, is this related or is this just for fun?
No, I just found it, and I was like, yes. Being able to spin was funny.
Oh yeah, no, I love the goofy edits for memes. I feel bad for laughing at it because they're like zoomer humor. Take a picture, add a blur effect, and there. And I'm like, that's not always funny. But then like blur effect seems to sometimes really make stupid shit funny. Same with like good transitions. I mean, even in the pre-YouTube days, like the early 2010s, having someone add subtitles to the video that had like smooth transitions and were there like to be seen with the funny jokes always seemed to make the videos better and funnier. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's a Zoomer thing or if it's just good editing tends to go a long way. Which reminds me, did I put that thing in the chat earlier? No, I didn't. I should put this here. It's from your favorite anime.
Oh, the
The reason I think this is actually really funny too is
you click on
the
that with it if I can speakers.
what? It's also not NSFW. I should just point out. I know it's misleading because Kursai likes to draw in
I
the
don't know
fans,
why.
but
Is that what they really made her sound like in English?
no, that's an AI. That's crazy because it really just sounds like he hired a voice actress for the video, but it turns out he's using an AI for that one. But the video itself was pretty funny. I just had no idea that an AI could do that with like freeware software. I'm sure it'd be easy to do if you have an expensive one or you're very tech savvy and can edit things, but
Did they use for the? They obviously use
because
someone to do the AI to sample the AI.
I
There's
think they
some
said it's
weird.
I think they
There's
said it
some
was
weird
based
like
on
lispy
someone.
stuff, but I don't know if it was just imitating
Yeah,
what the
I
what
was just
person.
surprised because until I read it, I didn't notice it right away. Like it was easier to tell after I was listening for it, but it just sounded like a human at first, so I didn't really
I
think
mean, it was
about
in
it.
English, so I basically was ready to turn it off because she's got a weird lisp in Japanese, and I was like, is that actually what she sounds like in English? Because that'd be awful.
Yeah, I think this is just for a the fact that they're using the scenes from the anime to make such a like a
Well,
goofy
they've
joke out of
edited
it.
it too. Like,
Oh yeah, there wasn't actually like Twitch live streams happening. I just mean like there was so much that was already there for them to use that if you haven't seen the anime at all, you could just assume this might be a dub or even a fan dub.
well, shit, the subtitles are already stupid for her. I'd have to like actually put it on stream, and I don't want to give anyone who uses AI for stuff too much credit. The thing is, it's like, uh, uh,
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to give like AI too much credit, especially when a voice actor should have been used. But the fact that it caught me off guard is one of the reasons I was almost like, I'll give you a pass that was impressive, just because I didn't even expect it.
but it
But
wasn't funny.
well, I mean, I think that was more aimed at the Zoomer audience, which is why I was using that as the example of the blur effect equal funny. There was a few lines that I thought were actually funny though, like the Suicide Watch one, and then I've been advised to retract this joke just because I see videos every day from Twitch streamers and YouTubers, and they're all like, I have to apologize. And I just don't watch any of it because it's all the same. But there's always shit coming out every day. It's so depressing.
Here's the fucking
Why
thought,
is
people. Okay, maybe I should have spoiled there, but whatever. Here's a thought. Don't say something stupid and racist to begin with to try and get clicks.
Yeah. Well, the
But the
worst is
problem
like,
is that Logan Paul and like XQC and other people normalized it being like, oh, if you
mhm,
just apologize for it, it's okay.
yeah. And there's even people talking about that now where they're like, you'll drag up tweets or receipts, quote unquote, for someone from 20 years ago and yell at them, but you'll forgive someone tomorrow who makes an apology video for something they did, that's even worse, but they apologized. So it's okay now. It's such a weird double standard, and in social media in general, it's just becoming so big that
It
as long as you apologize, you can do almost anything.
it
It's
depends
awful.
on the person and and like the thing is there's some people who did something stupid like the Pro Jared thing kind of
Mhm.
comes up. Like
Yeah.
he was trying to do a good thing, but didn't realize that in the process it made this crazy power balance or whatever. And the
Mhm.
thing is he had receipts. He never did
Yeah.
anything really that wrong, but what he was doing was not right, and he acknowledged that. As things like,
Yeah.
you want to do something good for people and be nice to people and do something to give back, and then someone is trying to be like, oh, he's tried to do sex me and did sexual relations, and it's like he wanted these. And it's like the thing is, if you have any sort of following or any sort of whatever, there's a
Mhm.
power balance.
Oh, it's the same with money too. When people are like, if you're too wealthy, do you actually have your friends or does your money have them? Like any kind of power you have, there's always going to be that struggle, which
There's people
sucks.
who are just going to be nice to you because you have money. That's why if it's
Exactly.
that's why I've always said if I like won the lottery or came into a massive windfall of stuff, I would keep it
Mhm.
as down low as possible
Yeah. Which
for as
I
long as
think they
humanly
tried to
possible.
make, didn't they try to make that illegal or something? Like when you win the lottery, you can't get the money unless you like announce that you got it or some stupid shit. I remember there was someone that refused to announce it. So they were like, we can't give you the full money or something. They're like, whatever, I don't care. Because they weren't willing to out
I
themselves
think
for
it's opt
becoming a mega millionaire.
I think it's opt in up here.
Mhm.
Like you have to opt into them taking your picture or whatever. Because the thing is, I wouldn't want people to know that I want all that money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's the
Because you don't
thing.
want
It's
them to
like
think differently based on that.
yeah, you want to be treated the same. And the thing is, like, oh well, something happened. That's why I said windfall because I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I do something ridiculous and come across a bunch of money because of what I do.
There's a ton of gold in my backyard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like I'd be like, yeah. I
Yeah.
would You wouldn't want to be like I'm struggling, but at the same time live like I
Yeah. Just like relatively normal, quote unquote. You know, you wouldn't
mean,
be going out and buying 6 Lamborghinis. You might
I
be
remember
buying
I
something
remember
you enjoy.
yeah, I remember people going on about what they would buy if they won the lottery, and I'm like, buy like a modest house.
Yeah. Like I'd have a
And
slight upgrade to my stuff and then I'd put a lot of it into savings so it lasts.
well, I'd like buy a house. Probably like it's like buy a house, set myself up with some stuff, and then go talk to a financial advisor to make this money last
Exactly.
as long as possible.
Yeah, because not just for your lifetime, but maybe for your descendants, not to make sure they do nothing with their lives, but if a financial emergency ever comes up, you take it from that and then you put back in money later and try to keep it as like the safety net for future generations. I think another good example of this, which actually segues a bit into
We haven't even
Xbox
started the
stuff.
podcast yet. We're still in the pre ramble.
Oh yeah, but what's that guy's name? The guy that did the riots recently for PlayStation 5s and other gifts. That was a perfect example of manipulating people with your power and clout to do anything you want. Like he got arrested, but apparently there were videos that he was saying he wanted to get arrested before this and what he'd do when he gets out and blah blah blah. So this was not only premeditated,
It's a
but
publicity stunt.
exactly. And he has a following that's dumb enough. No offense to everyone that's seen his stuff. I'm sure not
The,
everyone's like
the
this.
thing is that a lot of these people were probably like teenagers or whatever, but
Hmm.
you do, excuse me, you do something this stupid and you basically get rewarded for it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Hmm.
You're using your influence to not only tell everyone, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do," but you're putting a safety net around them by saying, "I'm big enough that none of you are gonna get in significant trouble. I'll take the rap, and then I have money to get out of it." Like those same people doing that riot a few years back after what happened with like the Black Lives Matter and COVID, and there were so many different consequences for that. This was just as dangerous as one of those riots because it's a riot. They're always dangerous.
I feel like the
I saw
Black Lives
people
Matter thing was
punching
a little
cars.
different because it was
Oh,
less about it was less they were not there's always going to be someone
takes
um
advantage, yeah.
who's going to ransack just because it's there. They're usually
Mhm.
not the actual protesters. It's just like,
Oh,
oh,
never.
I can try and get away with this. There's a lot of people around, so they'll do
Yeah.
something that's kind of scummy or shitty. But
And that's
they
what I mean.
it's
Yeah, I don't
it's a
mean
crime of opportunity rather than like
exactly.
premeditated for this person. So
And I
and
don't think that they're the same as in like what people were trying to get across. I just meant in terms of a riot happening. Like they both had riots.
no, that's what I mean. It's like you always get someone who will riot
Yeah,
over basically anything, or there'll be like a bunch of people doing stuff, and then people will riot,
the mob mentality too.
and they'll just get in on it.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
didn't,
almost like
I
oh,
saw
go on.
like tweets about what was going on, or whatever the hell you want to call them this week. Um,
Zeets.
there still says tweets, it still links to Twitter, it's still twitter.com. When you go to the website, we'll keep calling it tweets. Like I saw some of the tweets about what was going on, and then I saw like videos of people reacting to it, like this is so dumb. Like this guy's lost the street. It's like the guy probably got robbed, like stole all his
Well,
product and shit. Just like he's
but
on the street just doing his job. He owns that
well,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, he wasn't there to do whatever the riot was going on with. He was just doing a normal day in his life and
Yeah,
got
there's
caught
just
up
some
in
dude who's caught in the
chaos.
consequence. You're like, oh, they're making it look like he's gonna be ruined for life, and it's like, dude, get over yourself.
But do you see that crazy ripple effect? The one dude who started this is now creating quote unquote content, not just for the riot and what he's doing, but for people to react to it. And it has such this crazy huge
Yeah, I
wave
mean, like
that
even we're
affects so
talking
many
about it,
people.
which is a problem. We're part of the
Exactly.
problem, kids. Part of the problem.
That's how crazy it is too. Whether it's good or bad, it's creating so much attention for people who don't even know him. Like I've seen a
I have no
dumb
idea who that
reaction.
guy is. I really do.
I've seen
Just,
one thing one time. He's very loud and apparently very messed up, like in his actions and stuff. He's gotten away with some crazy shit, and I'm not here to judge that. I'm just trying to say this is another one to add to the list apparently, and
that's
maybe we
every
should
time.
stop it.
Like the problem is that for every like piece of like good or whatever content that goes out there,
Hmm.
people don't uh like yeah whatever you try to be
Yeah,
positive online and you'll get like a few likes.
yeah,
You be a
and that's why
negative
people do the
toxic
clickbait, stupid
douchebag,
shit.
you
Yeah.
get a ton of likes or even just a ton of uh interactions with people.
Have you seen Futurama?
Futurama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched some of them, not all of them, but
There was an episode with Bender in space, and he had a little bit of stuff like start growing on him, and he was basically the god for these little people. But then he met like actual God, which was just this cosmic space thing, and it was a whole lesson about helping yourself and someone not always going to be there to clean up your mess kind of thing. because if you do too much, they rely on you, and if you do nothing, they start to hate you. And the whole thing at the end was just the idea that if you do the right thing, people won't think you've actually done anything at all. And that line has always kind of stuck with me just because it fits to so many things. When you're a good person, when you treat others kindly, you don't get that good for you pat on the back from people because it's assumed or it's expected. But as soon as you do something terrible, everyone talks about it. Everyone, wants to be a
I
part of that,
mean,
negative or
you
positive.
saw you saw what I don't want to name names, but
Mhm.
you saw what came up in the chat at someone's office
Oh, yeah.
after hours.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not gonna
that's,
name names or anything because I don't know anything about the situation. But
yeah.
the song "High School Never Ends"
Yeah.
by Bowling for Soup
Surprisingly
definitely
fitting.
it's fitting for so many things because it's like people
Yeah.
always care. They always
Yeah.
care.
The little clicks, the little, gossiping, it happens everywhere. I mean, if it doesn't
Yeah.
happen at the office or school, it happens in church, it happens in the military. It doesn't matter what path you take in life. It's human nature, which sucks. Because like
I
I
mean,
wish there were more positive traits
the
that people
problem
talk about.
with like clicks and stuff isn't that they exist because the thing is that they're good niches and good clicks if you want to call
Yeah.
them that. I don't think people have used that term in a while, so I might be dating myself by using it.
Old school.
But with like it wasn't a problem when it's just people hanging out or whatever, like in like
Yeah.
1985 or whatever when they were in high school,
Back in
whatnot.
the cool days.
I mean, that's when Bowling for Soup. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's what they were talking about because it's the song '85. And it's all on the same album.
Yeah, 1985.
Yeah, 1985 is the one. So I'm assuming they were in high school or like high school adjacent around that time. Maybe later. I don't know. But the thing is that it was kind of like just social groups you hung out with them because there's obviously the internet wasn't as widespread. It still existed, like there were message boards and stuff, and people played
Yeah.
MUDs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it
it
just
was
said
on
something
such
that
a
no one knows.
different it
It's
was on
very
such a
different.
different scale than today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. So now you end up with because there's anonymity attached to these
Yeah.
clicks or whatever, you get more and more toxic relationships between them and people that just can't handle the fact that people don't think the way they do.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about the internet. Opinions are treated as fact and just tossed around with toxicity
I
instead of
I
just
I, I know some
opinions.
people will take stuff too far, but it was like today. I commented that people were talking about how Baldur's Gate was niche, and I made a comment about
Do they mean in general
CDPR.
or
No. They. Oh, I mean it's a 20-year-old series.
yeah.
Because I said I love that it says it's a niche series since the games that started CDPR and sold millions. It has been dormant for like 20-ish, 23-ish years.
But there was also a slight resurgence recently when they were made backwards compatible
Well,
and
they
HD.
ported them, yeah. But it
Yeah.
wasn't. Let's be real. It did not get the fanfare that Baldur's Gate 3 is getting right now. Like
Yeah,
those
but I think there's two
remasters,
reasons for that. One is the crazy amount of sex that they've been trying to sell with it, whether it's the bear sex, all that. So they've got the shock factor.
which is
And
so
also,
weird. Have you
yeah.
played? Okay, I'm actually. Let's start the show, and we'll get
All
into the
right.
Baldur's Gate thing because I need to talk about this.
All
All right,
right.
here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Xbox Port Beggars podcast. I'm Tristan. That's Justin, and
Howdy.
video's not playing. There, I fixed it. And this week we're doing an early show because someone's gonna go on vacation.
Apologies.
It's
It's
fine.
me.
I mean, just take your vacation. It's fine. Whatever. We
No,
just
fun
gotta
is
we just
illegal.
schedule around stuff. Fun is illegal. That is the rules of Twitter. Before we get into the ridiculous news, the news I feel like we called Let's talk about what we've been playing recently. We'll start
Sure.
with
Did you want to
Tristan.
start,
No, no,
or
you can
would you like
start.
me to? So, I've been playing a couple of fighting games, just, you know, picking that back up, trying to get. I guess Evo sparked some of that interest again, just seeing people play. And then I also played The Wandering Village. That was one of the recent early preview Game Pass games. Um,
Yeah, I've heard it's
it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I
Is
You
it
try to
the is it
survive on this thing's back. Oh, go on.
is it like because people are saying it was some sort of managementy type city more?
Yeah, you basically have these little villagers that are trying to survive on the huge creature's back, and you have to keep it alive while keeping yourself alive, like symbiotic relationship. His survival changes everything with you guys and vice versa. So you can feed him by building up your tech and launching food into his mouth. You can build trainers and doctors for him, but then you also have your society. And not only are you trying to survive off of the shit that grows on his face back, you're sending out like little squads to the areas around you to scavenge for food and nomads. And there's poison that can spread through the air and create plants that start spreading on your people. And you got to get, little dudes with flamethrowers to either melt the place down or risk your people and have all of them try to cut the poison down. Um, the cool job management part is you get to choose the little jobs for the people at any given time, whether they're making food, you know, chopping wood, smashing stone, uh, working the farms. Their jobs are constantly changing, and you're trying to evolve your little town into like a bigger, huge place. You can have up to like 2,000 people, I think. But each person can be named and has a little like story to them, and it's weird. It's basically like a sim ant game, but instead of an ant, you have tiny people, and you're trying to grow them in a little society. And there's so many natural disasters and awful things that can happen. But while you're riding this creature, you're also choosing the direction it goes in. Unlike a big overworld map, you can like zoom out of your village and then you see him and you can make him eat, sleep, give him commands. And depending on how much he trusts you, he'll listen to you or he'll say fuck off and walk into poison all the time and fucking kill all your people. Or you zoom out again and you can see the different paths to go, different areas to try to scavenge stuff from. There's a whole upgrade tree that you can research with little researcher guys. And the more people you apply to a job, the better and more powerful the stuff becomes. But you have to ration which guys go where because you only have so many. And if anything happens, everything starts falling apart. So it really builds upon itself. Um, I think I survived 158 days or something before dying on my first run. And there's a bunch of modifiers. They want you to join the Discord so that way you can talk about where the game's going. They've got a very tight knit community. So I think it's pretty cool. They're listening and they're trying to expand upon it that way. Um, yeah, I'd recommend trying it. There's achievements and everything, even though it's game preview or early release or whatever they want to call it, and it's on Game Pass. So if you like those kinds of games or you just want to give it a try, I definitely recommend it.
Hmm. Interesting. I'm not usually big on management sim types games. I was looking for a
Mhm,
new loop hero type game so I can just like have on something to do while I'm doing something else, like watching the show.
mhm.
But yeah. Anything else you've been playing?
Uh, just some Marvel vs. Capcom, Dragon Ball Legends,
No, that's fine.
and
That's
Battle
fine.
Kit. Oh no, wait, I did play a game recently. I totally forgot. Said it was like a week ago. Uh, I think it's Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut was a specific one. You remember it was actually the first ID at Xbox game on Xbox One in 2013, maybe 2014. I think it was
I'm not
2014.
familiar with it. Apologies.
So, no, no problem. It's a space, dogfighting kind of game, but your ship can also turn into like a mech robot mid-fight at any time. So you have
That
like,
sounds like something else I know.
and it's really cool. Apparently, it had a very good launch, and it saved the company basically. And then they made an updated version and then a director's cut that also came to consoles. And that's where ID Xbox stepped in and was like, we'll help you make the director's cut and save you guys on this. And it was great. But then unfortunately, the company just kind of stopped making games. And I think they died off in like 2016 or 2017. I think it'd be an amazing get to get the company and this game in general, just because a success story of ID Xbox and the game is really actually fantastic.
Have they
I
been
hope
radio silent, or did you look into them, or?
I did. Their website was completely blank, and it doesn't list the reason. It just says they stopped making games or they haven't been doing anything for a few years. And I couldn't find like anything from the company saying like we're retiring or we quit. The Twitter had a like 2015 or 2016 as its last tweet, and then not much activity. Um,
Yeah.
so I have no
They're
idea.
either radio silent because something else happened, or I'm not
Mhm.
100% sure on that.
Yeah. And I think it was given to us with gold at one point because I remember thinking, I got this for free. I might as well try it. And then I really liked it at the time and hadn't thought about it since then. So I picked it up again. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. And I forgot how good it is. It's like really good. Definitely recommend it for people who like space fighting but also mechs. Uh,
Interesting.
got really cool combat.
That
Although
is
I
awesome.
wonder if it's still for sale now that I say that. Let me check
Well, it could just be there's
this.
like one guy or whatever at the company now, like the whatever,
Yeah.
and they're just
Yeah, you can
moving
still
on
buy
from
to own it
him.
for $20. Born Ready Games is the company, by the way.
Anyway, I wanted to get footage of of the Dam, which I've been playing.
That's true. Seen
Um,
some funny stuff from that from you.
oh my god, this game is fun.
I'm really
Some of them
hoping
I
they don't
can't post
change
on Twitter
much.
because they're a little too spicy. Just a
Yeah.
little too spicy.
Are you worried about the remake not keeping some of that, or
Uh,
do you think they'll be
yeah,
good
I'm
about it?
definitely worried. After
Okay.
playing through most of it, I'm at the castle, which I'm assuming is the end of the game.
Yeah, it's near it.
Yeah, like I'm at the in the catacombs, I'm in the first part of the last stretch.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I'm a little worried. The more I play through it, I'm like, some of these jokes are not gonna fly.
Yeah. Like it doesn't start off too
There's
crazy,
one,
but
and it was like really stupid. Like it's a really stupid thing. And Johnson's the name of the little skull on the gun.
yeah, he can turn into all sorts of things and shoot teeth. Fun dude.
Teeth, bones, skulls, whatever, depending on
Yeah.
what he has. There was a comment like you're in like a church, and Johnson says something, and Garcia's like, "I'm a Mexican, not a Mexicant," and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a terrible joke." I'm like, "Is that gonna fly in 2024?" I
I
don't
think it
know.
also was like because of the accent and because of how goofy and over the top the story was, it
I
was easier to
absolutely
say.
I love Garcia fucking Hotspur.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's so much easier to say it's a joke or laugh at it because it's so out there. But with a remake, not only is it like, well, you had to look it over, but it also looks more realistic and modern. So I feel like it's unfortunately going to be under a finer lens than the original might have. And of course,
Yeah,
10 years is a big difference in what's okay.
yeah, I'm a
I got
little
the
worried.
same.
But
Oh,
uh,
sorry.
getting the copy was a huge W. Like I can play the original, and then I can compare.
Mhm.
But like gameplay wise, there's only a few things you need to tweak to make it like better, like
Yeah,
work. I feel in a modern setting, but joke wise, I don't
yeah,
know.
that's my worry. Sorry, I
Yeah,
was reading chat.
I just realized chat
They,
was not up.
oh, yeah, I'm worried about Lollipop Chainsaw, Silent Hill 2, and
Silent
Shadows of
Hill
the Dead.
2 is already. I have written off the Silent Hill 2 remake for a
I'm
lot of
close to it.
reasons.
for everything
No,
it's
as soon
saying
as they
too.
said they were changing stuff in it, I was
Yeah,
like,
for a
nope.
modern audience. Ugh,
Yeah,
I
you
hate
you
that line.
literally just lost the point. I gotta get chat up. I'm sorry. I'm just not here for
And the
chat.
worst, no, no worries. The worst part about all free games too is they are either in or attached to my favorite genre, horror, and of course, comedy and horror. I think are the two things that are examined the most when you are trying to see what's okay these days. Horror is always constantly changing what people are all right hearing, and comedy. People keep drawing new lines of what is offensive, what's mean, who you're saying something is offensive for, even if they aren't mad. It's the two most critiqued genres of anything, I think, horror and comedy. Because action, no one really gets offended or angry at, if there's too much of it. Um, Romance, some people might, but I feel like even if something's really lovey-dovey and they cut down on it, it's not because people are like, you need to make it more interesting for the teenagers. Like, you're not changing these genres based on audience appeal. Except, comedy, you have to keep changing, and
Look, keep
horror,
the dick
it's
jokes. They're good. All the dick jokes are great. Every single one.
and that's why I'm
Um,
worried about Lollipop and Shadows of the Damned. It has comedy and humor and horror. So I'm worried they're gonna take out
I
what makes it
mean,
kind of gory and fucked up, but also mess with all their jokes.
if I'm gonna be completely honest, there's a lot of scenes that are just messed up in Shadows of the Damned.
Hmm.
Like like some of the clips I said, it's like, oh, it's funny. There was literally a scene where a dude ate his own heart, and then Garcia makes a comment about him maybe playing too many video games and not being hugged enough as a child. Like,
Yeah, there's definitely stuff
it's.
that should be or could be updated that wouldn't offend or make anyone angry. I'm more worried about the
I
stuff
think
that
you need to keep it just
is
as it
nice.
is. You need to leave
Yeah,
it just as it is. It is a timepiece. It's like a capsule. And because the
yeah,
original is not just readily available online anymore, you have to go and track down a physical now.
yeah. Which these days it's like, what are you gonna play that physical on? Xbox, you're lucky that you have the backwards compatibility, and it's one of those. If it's a PlayStation game, it's not that easy, and you can't do it with anything Nintendo at the moment. And there's so many computers that
Yeah.
don't even have disk drives, even if you manage to get a PC copy.
I don't know if
It's
the PC copy is delisted, but I did play some other games. Well, booted
Mhm.
up some for fun. Uh, Golden Axe Beast Rider. Now
Yes, I
this
remember
game
you
has
talking about that.
troubled history, but they never finished it because the other two characters are supposed to be playable too.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's a bad game. I don't know if I'm actually gonna finish it though. I'll probably play through a bit more of it before I decide. I put in. I picked this up for $5 when I was at Anime North, and I was like, yeah, whatever. It's Automedus Excellent. It's based off Gradius.
Hmm.
It's basically Gradius with waifu characters. Uh, Very funny in my opinion. Like super funny to see it exist. Honestly, think it holds up visually pretty well. You could just use the cutscene character models if you had them still lying around. Uh, I did put in, but did not play a lot of Eternal Sonata. I just wanted to make sure the disc still worked and all that.
Yeah, it's a great game, but it's an RPG, so if you do play it, you're gonna want to sit down and sink the time in. So I
Yeah.
get that.
So yeah, not starting yet. It's very interesting to use classical music as a reference. Um, I still haven't figured out if the Japanese title of Trusty Bell is accurate.
How many characters have you gotten so far in that? Because you didn't play
I
too much, you
just
said.
booted up like the start, and I was like, ended up putting it down. So I haven't really got
Gotcha.
anywhere in there yet, but I thought it was an interesting
All I'll say
premise.
is the weapons are also based on music, and they make their music and sound as you're battling with them. So that's definitely cool when you get to play around with that.
We'll have to see. They're still around though. They worked on one of our favorite Tales of games.
Yeah.
I
I
also put in and was very disappointed with 99 Nights. Not because I think it's a bad game, but because graphically it does not hold up.
yeah.
Now, this might be an issue strictly to me, but I did look at emulation footage of it and people running it on like much higher spec. And the thing that bothered me the most, which is this blurring effect on far away enemies.
Yeah.
I
Unfortunately,
I
some
think it's a
games rely
CRT
way too
thing
heavily on the motion blur.
because this was pretty early in the 360 era, wasn't it? 2006. That's pretty early,
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that only
relatively
half of the
speaking.
year in
Yeah, that's what I mean.
to the
It's pretty.
360?
I don't remember when it exactly launched, but it's not too far in. I think the
Yeah, I think it
second
was like
one,
December
which
of
I also have,
2005.
I bought both of them just because.
Ah, 99 and a half nights. 100 nights.
100 nights, yes. And this was 2010, so I have a little higher hopes for the second game holding up better.
Mhm.
The
And you haven't
first,
started that one yet?
no,
Okay.
I just booted some stuff up to see how it ran, see what I wanted to play. Like I played a little bit
Yeah.
of Wet, I played a little bit of this, played a little bit of that. Um, but I want to finish Shadows of the Damned first
Yeah.
because I haven't put in really played like Shadowrun or even Star Ocean Last Hope. I have too. I just have a pile of games sitting there.
Yeah, it's
So
hard when you
many.
pick up a bunch at once, though, because unless they're short, quick bursts, even though you
Yeah,
want to play them all, you gotta kind of stick to one and finish it.
yeah,
Otherwise, you end up, at the last boss and just putting it down for a bit and coming back to it for years later.
or never.
Exactly. Well,
Just
speaking of
watch.
Tales of, which you had said when talking about the Internal Sonata, didn't they just say there's gonna be an announcement, but no one knows what it is yet?
Yeah,
Like,
there was. I heard some stuff about that. It was interesting.
yeah, they were like, we don't know if it's a game or a TV series or what. And of course, I see a
Someone
lot
was
of
saying
people that are
something
like,
about Arise getting more stuff, and I'm like, I feel like that story was done.
yeah, like the only thing I could see would be costumes for anniversaries and stuff, but I feel like at this point you wouldn't go back to the game just for that. Because I mean, it's been like what, 2 years now? Two and a half? When did
Yeah,
that come out? Was it 2019, 2020, 2021? No,
2020.
I feel like it was
About Tales of
2020.
Arise.
I think it was before COVID, but I could be wrong.
I think it was like just as COVID was starting. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. 2021.
2021. Okay. Oh, see, so it must have been the beginning of COVID. Because I remember not being as
Yep.
stressed getting that package compared to some other stuff. Um, yeah. So I mean, not that I don't think the game deserves content or anything, but it's been out there for a while, and Tales of games are pretty self-contained. Like
Yeah, to
they
be
might have a little bit of content, but it's
unless you're gonna
usually
do like a silly like crossover whatever game with like a bunch of
yeah.
characters, which could be cool.
I
I
mean,
don't
didn't they have that mobile game for a while that kind of combined them all, and then
I
it died
don't
off?
play mobile games. I'm not the
I
person
didn't
to
play it
ask.
either, but I remember it was like it was Tales of something, and I remember people were excited, and then they found out it was mobile, and they were sad. But then apparently the story was really good, but they ended service because it didn't have the community they
Because
wanted.
mobile game. Mobile
Yeah,
games are a
people were like,
problem.
just release it on console. It had a good story, and nothing's happened since then. So it's like, oh,
Yeah. I feel
there's
like
also a bunch that are. Oh, go on.
yeah, we'll get into mobile gaming when we talk about Square's news.
Yeah,
But
there's a bunch that are locked to older consoles though too. That might be some of the news. Like I know Zillia and
I know
Zillia 1 and 2 and something
look,
else are all
I know
stuck on the
that
PS3.
the Trusty Bell or the Eternal Sonata isn't technically a Tales of game or involved with it at all, but I see no
But they
reason
both
why
have cute anime girls.
well, one's based on famous composers.
Yeah, it's like Fate, but for musicians.
I'm so surprised that it's not that compat. I'm like, what? Or at
I
least
honestly
been a
thought it
port.
was for the longest time. And then I was in the mood to play it, and I tried to boot it up, and I was like, no!
So
It was the
weird.
worst. Yeah.
So weird. Uh, anything else I've been playing? No, not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Although you could talk about how the community night thing went last week and what we're hoping for next time, kind of thing. Like, didn't you guys play? Was
Oh
it
yeah,
Jackbox? Was
we played Gang Beasts. Yeah, no as much
Game Beast? That's what
Jackbox
it was.
stuff. It
Yeah.
didn't actually end up getting streamed, but we did play Game Beast. We had a light turnout.
Hmm.
It was good enough. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, hoping to run like more. I was kind of hoping more people would show up, but a lot of people like life got in the way. So
Yeah. Apologies for me. I was one of them where I had really wanted to do it, and I had some family stuff to deal with.
it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like
Well, of
it's
course.
gonna be what it's gonna be. Um,
But I feel like this still has the potential for growth, which is why I'm hoping every time we do it, we see more people or more people want to do this kind of thing instead of just saying, "Hey, I'm busy that night, but I have a different night," and people can jump in then. More of
yeah, I
just,
think it was because I polled people like I polled Twitter, and Tuesday seemed to be the good one. Yeah, this week it's
mhm,
newbie Overwatch Tuesday. If you
yeah,
are interested in Overwatch, even if you've never played it, you can come play with us. I'll tell you what we
yeah,
know.
no judgment. And of course, I'm gonna miss it because I'm gonna be driving to New York for the vacation, which is why we're doing this a day early. But I promise I will be at one of these community nights soon
Well,
because I'm
2 days
actually
early,
really
Jeff.
looking forward to it. What happened?
Yeah, it was 2 days early for the podcast, technically. Because you should do
Oh
it
yeah,
Wednesdays now. But it's
you're
fine.
right. God, I'm all mixed up.
I mean, I couldn't after this news dropped yesterday. I couldn't not have a podcast this week. I
Of
can't
course.
I can't stew on something like this.
It was so vindicating too, which
It was.
is why it was hilarious that uh, our buddy Sixers jumped in. He's like, "Alexa, play I'm Vindicated."
Yep. Pretends
Uh,
to be shy. Okay, for people
yeah,
who
such a good song.
oh wait, why isn't it working? Oh there it goes. There it goes. I was worried there, it didn't pop up right away. I was like, what is this? Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
believe they mean stock, in case people were wondering, because it just says Square Enix drops.
Square Enix is on the left here. No, the 79% is the profit decline. So this
Yeah,
isn't just the stocks are down 12%. They were trading pretty high though, 5,561 yen.
yeah. Well, that's the thing that I think people don't realize. There's so much staying power with this company and franchise, but as CD Projekt Red has shown you, you can burn that away very easily, and it's very hard to earn back. It's possible, but it will hurt your stocks, it'll hurt your sales, and in both cases, you didn't need to do the action that created the problem, but then you did, and you had to learn the hard way, kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I know it says as much as 15% when this article went up. It was it was updated. What was the edit? I'm curious. There we go. It's right here, guys. In
What?
bold.
Oh,
Slow adoption of Sony Group's PlayStation 5 was the limiting factor.
which
I think that's
mathematically was going to happen, like no
I
matter
think
what anyone said.
yeah, I think that's part of the reason. And I kind of want to I set this up a bit last night when I was talking with we were playing Overwatch with Kruger, but there's kind of like three groups of gamers on any console.
Yeah,
You have your COD FIFA people, and that's like the biggest share.
yeah, that's
Okay,
huge.
that's the huge share. Then there's the overlap with the free to play people who are like maybe kids or whatever. They play Minecraft or whatever, and Genshin, and you put those in the next bucket. And then the
Yeah.
last bucket, which is the smallest bucket, is the PlayStation extremist.
Hmm.
Well, there will be some overlap between them, and there's like a Venn diagram of what kind of gamer everyone is.
Yeah.
the we have to acknowledge that the smallest bucket is the extremist. I will play everything Sony first party puts out,
Yeah,
and this is vindicating proof what we've been saying for months that
yeah,
ignoring your audience on other platforms for a short term game is not gonna help you. 79% profit drop is huge. That's insane.
yeah. And people have been saying things like, "Oh, but their income for other spots was up 14%, blah blah." And that's
It
good.
doesn't
I'm
make up.
glad that's up, but there's such a significant difference in down that much and up that little bit that unfortunately you don't get to focus on that good little bit. You don't have time to because the huge part that's going down is awful for the company.
Yeah, that's their biggest. I think games is their biggest.
Oh yeah, at this point it is. I mean, they've been selling off some of their other stuff.
Well, they still have like manga,
Yep, their
anime,
anime and manga, their figurines
yeah,
and
play arts.
toy
Play arts is
brands.
theirs, right?
I believe so.
Pretty sure there's this. Their mine's play arts, but yeah, Sony's stock is also down, but not nearly as much. But
And we don't
people,
want these companies to fail. I mean, obviously competition's great for us no matter what platform we're on. And we want some of these Square games. So the fact that they are failing and we feel vindicated and happy is not because they're failing, but because everyone that tells you they only need the Sony group or you guys don't deserve their games, blah, 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 they don't need you. And then this
full of
happens.
shit.
It's vindicating to remember that the people who speak the loudest on Twitter and throw hate and toxicity, not only are they wrong, but they aren't supporting their own cause.
Yeah,
Like,
these
they're
people
not
are
buying
not
these games.
buying games.
Yeah, they're just telling other people they don't deserve it, which is worse because then the company's not making any money.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That's the thing. It's like I don't think I would have picked up a copy of Final Fantasy 16 even if it was on Xbox because it didn't look
I would
appealing
have,
to
but
me.
not at launch
It doesn't
because
look as
I've been
appealing to
interested in
me.
some of it. Hmm. I
But
mean, I've picked up every Final Fantasy before that because I do love the series,
I
but I
mean,
am worried about 16.
I mean, I would have picked up Valkyrie Elysium if
Oh,
it had
say
shown up,
someone someone actually
or
tweeted about that game. You know how the tweet from Square apparently they were like they're only gonna try to focus on AAA big games now instead of the little ones. Someone was like, "Good, stop dropping shit like this," and they posted a picture of that game. And I was like, "Dude, if Square only focused on the big games, they would have no money right now. These little games are how they've been making that money back. 16, Octopath Traveler 2, these are cool big games that just did not hit the mark. Whether it's the neglected audience or people are tired of these
the
kinds of games,
the thing is,
it all
if you look at
depends.
the sales trends, Final Fantasy 15 was like up 10 million units is what it shipped
Yeah, it was 5
for.
million in the first day, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's 5 million the first day, but it was 10 million for its entire life. With I'm including, I think all the re-releases and all the
Yeah,
DLC doesn't
and that's
count
what
as a
happens with
separate
single
one.
player games. That huge spike, and then it kind of dies down over time because there's no more content or reason to buy it.
Yeah, and then 7 remake was what 3 4 million, three and a
uh,
half. It wasn't.
I think
It's
it was
not
three
that
and a
much.
half.
I think it's 3.5 or whatever, and then we're three. Now I know
Yeah,
7 remake has gotten more after the integrate or whatever
yeah,
update.
it's probably at four, maybe four and a half now.
Yeah, but you shouldn't see such a sharp decline. And the reason you're seeing that
Yeah,
sharp decline is because you didn't launch on PC or whatever. Launch.
yeah.
Yeah,
When you're
it's
on a
Diva shirt.
platform, when you're on a platform like only PlayStation, your audience is limited to only PlayStation. And it sounds silly, but what you need to remember is how many of them are out there
Son of a
that are
bitch.
people
It's
who
right
will
here.
buy this game. Like you have to have the fans of it, but
Called it. Phone. I hate you. Robocall? Nobody. Come on. Return. 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 Are we back? Justin, you back? Oh, do I hear Justin? No? Square found us. I mistyped. I'm gonna have to restart the chat quick. I'm just gonna do that, actually. I'm
Oh,
getting
I
very
hear you
tempted.
now.
Oh, there we go. Okay, it fixed.
All right.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I was gonna say
No one
real
was on
quick
the
was,
other end of the phone. No one.
oh my God, because I even heard the background.
Square
Yeah, what is it? And then like a silence. I was like, oh no, was that the phone?
the phone.
Um, I was gonna say real quick to finish that segue. Um, after hearing how much 16 sold, we don't even have an exact number. 3.5 million for 7 remake, 5 million for Final Fantasy 15. This one shipped 3 million. We don't know how many sold, but
Well, they said
shipped less.
sold, but the notes say shipped.
Oh no, even the little picture that they have, like with Clive on the front, they were like, "Congratulations, 3 million shipped." Like, they never said sold on any of the stuff. It's all specifically saying shipped, which can be sold, but does not mean it's sold, which is what's so big and unfortunate. Let me see if I can find the picture because I just saw it
I know there was
earlier.
one that said sold on it, but it. That's the thing. I'm not. The thing is that clearly this is why the old president got voted out. Why the old CEO of Square Enix is gone, and there's a new guy in charge.
Yeah.
Yuri. And all the Yakuza memes have been glorious, but
Oh, the Kiryu.
he, I mean, he has the name. There's no way it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's honestly sad to see Square Enix end up like this, especially since
Yeah.
I would say for the longest time they were in a very good spot and they were releasing like very good game after very good game,
Yeah.
and then
They're where Capcom is now. Sega and Capcom were in the exact spot that Square used to be in, where it felt like they couldn't do any wrong. They had tons of fans supporting their new IPs just as much as their classic ones. It's not. It didn't last for Square though.
yeah, this is also interesting. The Final Fantasy franchise profitability is weakening.
Yes, and that's what I
Uh,
was trying to say when I meant that it's not good that it's 3 million shipped and not sold. The fact that each game has had less pre-orders, less total sales,
yeah.
is very telling that the audience is not jumping right on day one to get these games anymore, which is huge. It used to be, you know, the day one slash week one was some of their biggest sales, and now they're kind of having to hope that they pick back up again because they just didn't meet those
Well, I feel like
metrics.
there's a couple other factors we're missing out on here.
Mm-hmm.
Factor one is this game was more expensive than the last, even for just a regular plain old copy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also going to influence people. And they can be like, "Well, do I really need to buy this game? It's
Yeah.
so much money. I could spend my money on this game or that game instead, or like all these other games." And there's a big RPG around the corner coming. Yeah, Final Fantasy did used to be a system seller. Like
Yeah,
that's why people
and I think
played
that's
the.
what they were both banking on,
That's
Sony
why
and
people.
Square.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't think. I don't think Final Fantasy is as big as it once was. I think it peaked at the PlayStation 1 era, where it actually did sell systems. because you couldn't really play it anywhere else.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So yeah, this makes the Final Fantasy 14 news make perfect sense though. Like it all comes
Yeah,
full circle. It's like, why are they announcing this now? And then the financials drop, and you're like, ah,
they need to pump those numbers up.
it all makes sense now. Oh man, the best part about Square PS1 was like games like Parasite Eve, uh, and
Yeah,
all the
being
other weird,
creative,
all just
finding
the
the weird
weird one.
shit.
Oh, what
Yeah.
was it? Let's take a look to memory lane, shall we? Because I'm pretty sure there was Brave Fencer Musashi theirs. I
Um,
feel like it.
I,
Hold on, I'll
I'm
just
not
open a
100%
Bing
sure,
search.
so I'm not going to take a guess. Let me double check.
I just remember that. Yes, yes, it was. I
Nice.
was right. So it's like there was
I
all
was
sorts of
right.
there was all sorts of like when it was SquareSoft,
The good
there
old
was
days.
all sorts of like fantastic games in of the era. I was hoping for like, just a pitch like a list.
Yeah. They've been trying so many new things back then too. I feel like these days people are afraid to try new things based on sales. So they cling so much to that identity to the point where when they try something new, they aren't willing to try it outside of their own franchise. 16 is a perfect example of that. If that game wasn't a Final Fantasy game, I'm sure it would have done a lot better.
I
But
mean, can we just talk about the elephant in the room? The
go
Spirits
on.
Within,
Yeah.
the game that literally ruined the company
uh,
and
great
made them
game,
merge with
great game.
Enix because they didn't
Yeah.
make. I Squaresoft was the king. Yeah, it was. And now that's long dead. Square Enix has been middling lately, but they were in a good spot. I'd say 360 ish era where they weren't relying on Final Fantasy quite as much, or at least 7.
Hmm.
Because PS2 had so many like spin offs or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that was the golden age for them, both
Yeah.
PlayStation and Square. They were like, oh, we can't miss. Release anything. Nothing but hits.
Yeah. Now it's just their mobile section's in a mess because they keep just
Oh,
closing
God.
stuff.
Yeah. They haven't kept support for anything longer than like a year and a half in the last 5 years. It's
Yeah,
it's expensive.
I think the last CEO of Square Enix got way too comfy with Sony's money, and then
Yeah.
now we're seeing the repercussions of this years later.
Which sucks for the new guy because not only is he picking up the company in a worse state than it was, he's picking up all this debt. The the entire group of like, we are clinging to Sony to get that money. We have NFTs that are ready to go, and this guy's walking in like, this is a shit show. I have so much work, and it's all my fault now because I'm the guy in charge. Like, it's an awful spot to be in.
Oh, don't show me. I have broken links. I wanted to see if I was right in players, but never mind. Yeah, it's a mess, 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 mess.
Wow, as I quickly was scrolling to check something, trending in gaming is no Xbox and Xbox version.
Yeah, let's talk about the Baldur's Gate 3 thing for a bit.
Yeah.
Um, it is unfortunate that we're not getting an Xbox version in the near future.
Hmm.
But on the flip side, there are a lot of dumb people out there running their mouths talking about Baldur's Gate and not knowing anything about it.
My favorite was when someone recently argued with one of the devs about it being a PlayStation exclusive. They were hyping it up and psyched about it, and the dev came in. He's like, it's not. We've never done this." And he argued back with them like, "It is. Shut up. You don't know anything."
I work at the company. They pay my check.
I feel like it was one of the lead devs too. Like it wasn't just Joe Schmo. It
Yeah.
was like, "Hi, I'm in charge of the game and the company."
Yeah, no, I have no problems with Baldur's Gate 3, but I have a problem with a bunch of people spouting stuff off and not understanding the legacy of the franchise.
Yeah, because they're great
Like
games,
someone,
but
because I said to someone, I'm like, this franchise literally made CDPR, and they're like, CDPR didn't make the game. Yeah, but they published it in Poland. It's super fascinating because Poland was full of rampant piracy at the time. Like
yeah,
people were literally like, "Hey, yo, tune in your radio at this time and record what happens." I'm not
yeah.
kidding. This is the thing that
No, I
happened. And people
know
would just like
it was
record it to a
rough.
tape and play them on their Amigas. Like,
Yeah,
how do you sell a game in a market like that when people are gonna go buy the
yeah, exactly. Why would they pay for it?
yeah when they can go to the whatever market and buy some cheap floppies? And the answer was uh, a really cool version with stuff that we never got for one,
Yeah,
and fully
up that
localizing
quality.
the game into Polish. The ties between Interplay's old like it was Interplay and Black Isle later became BioWare. I know a lot of people don't like this, but with Black Isle, the ties between those two companies are so fascinating because Baldur's Gate inadvertently helped fund the first Witcher game, which led us to where we are now with CDPR being such a big company and GOG in general. Yeah, a lot of these fanboys don't know anything about Baldur's Gate. Not a single thing. The series is like over 20 years old. So I understand that they didn't play the original, but
But like I brought up earlier, they did get ported recently or recently-ish that you could play
yeah, it
all
was
of
like
them on
Alpha
modern
Dog
consoles.
and no, Beamdog. Sorry, it's Beamdog and someone else did the ports are pretty good. The that code works. You can
Yeah,
play it
very
online,
cool.
which is
People don't
interesting.
realize that that free in Baldur's Gate means that there are previous entries.
Although I don't know how connected they are to the older games,
Yeah, I think it's
the new
similar to
one.
how Final Fantasy is for the most part self-contained.
Well, why didn't okay with most of the old TSR games, but before TSR got bought out by um Wizards of the Coast and then later Hasbro.
Yeah.
Weird how that works. Um, the old TSR RPGs like Eye of the Beholder, the trilogy, you could literally take your party from the first game all the way through to the last game, and you could
Yeah.
transfer them up every time. You wouldn't get to keep all your items, but you get to keep your characters and your levels. And doing that was actually beneficial because you had more levels than the starter characters if you rolled new characters in the second or third game.
Yeah, Divinity does something similar.
But Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't get to move it on. Baldur's Gate 1, you could move your character from 1 to 2,
Yeah, which is
but
very cool.
2 to 3 doesn't happen because it's so much farther in the future. I
Yeah.
don't want
I
to.
think Dragon Age also did that, now that I think about it.
Dragon Age did? I don't
I remember
remember.
you could port your character's like life story and
No, I
uh
mean like
choices.
your stats. Choices didn't get transferred, but your
Mm,
stats did, and your level and all that.
gotcha.
And then
Yeah, I
because the
think
thing is
Dragon Age was only your history kind of stuff.
In
Go on.
Baldur's Gate 1, you could find these books that
Hmm.
would increase your like stats by one by reading them permanently. So you could so if you save scummed it enough and import glitched it enough, you could have a character that's like perfect 25s, which is
Yeah, but
insane.
at
A
that
lot of
point you
people
did
did
so
that.
much work to ruin the game for yourself.
Did you? You don't really ruin the game by doing. The third game doesn't let you. have too many points or whatever. But
Yeah, I just mean I feel like your first playthrough of a game shouldn't be with like a max stats broken character, just because
well,
it's probably not designed for it.
no, but you could put turn on true D&D rules and then get instantly jibbed. The
That's
advantage of
true.
having perfect 25s is you have a really high armor class
Yeah.
and are so strong that you could like rip a fucking house apart. But that's the
I
thing.
ripped the man in front of me in half.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very interested. I don't feel like the Xbox port would be that much farther off. Playing
Yeah, no, I
legit,
think they said they were trying to get it done before the end of the year.
yeah, I think it's either gonna be near the end of the year or at the start of next year.
Yeah.
But it's more like they have the end. They only have so many people who can make it. That's the thing. It's like, oh, they have this many employees, they can do it. You need to put like your best guy on it to look at it and be like, yeah, I need to fix this.
Yeah. Plus, you need people working on the current version that's on other platforms because you can't just drop support.
Yeah. So it's just a balancing act.
Yeah.
Playing legit is fine, but the game legit lets you get these tomes to increase your stats. It's not
Yeah. It's
cheap
the
to
kind
play
of thing
through the game
I
multiple
wouldn't
times to
mind.
get them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that on a second playthrough, but on the first one, I'd try to do as quote unquote legit uh, as I can
Uh,
make it. But that's a personal
Honestly,
preference.
Baldur's Gate 1 is kind of hard.
Oh, yeah.
Um, like if you don't know a lot about uh I've seen a lot of people struggle if you don't know a lot about second edition D&D rules. Although
Which version
they
did they have?
fudge them a little for the simulation purposes.
Yeah.
The
Which version was it based on at the time, though?
That was a 2.5. I don't have the player's
God,
handbook with me, but
that's
it's
so long ago.
second edition 2.5 or advanced second
Yeah.
edition D&D. So you have stuff like Thaco. The chance to hit armor class 0, I believe is what it stands for.
hmm Yeah,
But
I
everyone just
remember
called it
someone was
Thaco.
getting into a debate about that recently. Because there was a game that was using a certain version of D&D and people were mad because they didn't have the rules they wanted. And it was something about
Honestly,
determining armor
like
class.
third edition D&D just did so. Um, the biggest difference between Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 is that Baldur's Gate 1 uses second edition D&D rules, and the second game uses third edition. And
Which, similar to games,
third edition is kind of like frowned upon in a lot of ways because it does a lot of stupid stuff.
yeah. And for people who aren't as into D&D or don't understand the versions, think of a game getting heavy patch notes that add new content, remove some, nerf things, buff things. It's kind of like that. There's
It was
changes.
worse than that. Third edition kind of tried to dumb things down
Yeah.
to a point.
And
So they
I
got rid
get
of
why.
armor class. Some stuff was not needed in second edition, but some of the stuff was pretty good. Like
Yeah. I think
they
they were
got
trying
rid
to
of
make it more
Thaco.
accessible, but it pissed a lot of people off.
Well, they got rid of stuff like Thaco, and I know people don't. Thaco's interesting in a lot of ways because instead of armor class going up in second edition D&D, it went down.
Yeah.
So the lower the number was, the better. So basically, I can
Suddenly
explain it
golf
very
rules.
quickly. If you are like a first level fighter or whatever, and you're trying to hit someone whose armor class is 0, which is the equivalent of wearing full plate, shield, and whatever, like actually do damage, you have to roll, I think it's like 18,
hmm
and you get modifiers to that to hit them. So it's like, okay, the guy's in full plate, and then enchanted stuff would take you lower than that. So if your Thaco is like, say, 7, if they're -4, you add 4 to that number. I know it's a
Yeah.
little bit confusing, but it's It's like the more skilled you are, the lower your Thaco gets.
And Falco is not actually the character from Star Fox. This is a different Falco.
No, no, it's Thaco. TH.
I know.
Thaco. Like taco with an H. Taco.
Hmm. That girl's Thaco.
Taco. It's the fancy taco. It
Yes.
joke in the house. Oh, that play. So like I'm much more familiar with second edition D&D than any of the newer stuff, so I don't know anything about. I think it's fifth edition is the current
I
one.
believe so. And I think my stuff is fourth edition that I had picked up a few years ago.
Fourth
So,
edition is a mixed bag and is trying to be a lot more like an MMO where they get rid of things
yeah.
like spell limits. Yeah, playing a mage in like rolling just a straight mage, level one mage in Baldur's Gate, the original one. It's not a fun time. Get ready to throw sling at things for people. We're never gonna get another Star Fox.
I mean, that depends. Like,
I don't think so.
once all the big heads at Nintendo die, maybe someone will come in with like Star Fox. It's an awful thing to
Maybe.
say, but like, what if?
What if? That's that's kind of just the do. But yeah, I have lots of fond memories of playing the original Baldur's Gate. I played it through a bunch of times. So while I'm like, oh, you could just cheat, whatever. Like I just started new games all the time, and
Yeah.
got and farmed tomes and the like. I was so excited when I got the Tales of the Sword Coast expansion because it was so hard to find. So fun, so fun. Oh, what was that? Not important. Okay, so yes, basically, what I'm trying to say is I know more about Baldur's Gate than these guys who are capping for it, and it
Sorry
drives
about
me
that.
nuts.
I
It's
feel like
fine.
every podcast, your phone destroys it, and then one of my batteries dies, so I have to fix it in the controller.
One of your batteries dies. Yeah, no,
It's our constants.
that's the cost.
It's our canon event. God, that meme's been going around like crazy. But
I
not just
honestly
Star Fox. Oh, go
Star
on. Sorry.
Fox.
I was gonna say, besides that, we also need F-Zero. Like, Nintendo, for all the amazing franchises it has, also has an amazing amount of franchises dormant. Like Metroid. Are we ever gonna get another Metroid Prime?
Well, Metroid Prime
Ever?
4 is announced, and they scrapped
We have a,
development and
I
then
think
decided to start it again.
was it 6 or 7 years ago at this point?
It was basically like the first. They announced it the first like Christmas of the Switch.
Yeah, and I think all they had at that point was someone goes, I like Metroid. And they're like, cool. And that's how much they had when they're like, we'll announce it.
We'll
And
announce
then
it,
they
yeah.
had to erase all the progress and start over.
Yeah, because they didn't like
But
what
oh,
was
yeah, but it's
happening.
been a while too. Like I'm not
Yeah.
saying give me the game or else, but I'm saying like, can I have an update? Like even if the update is it's not coming soon, that's fine. Can you tell me that? I don't even know if the company's alive.
Are
I
they
haven't heard from
alive?
them
Are
in
they doing
years.
anything? Who knows?
Yeah, at least they're not
Something else.
Rockstar.
Let's put something else on the screen. This Gamescom still?
Hmm.
Whatever, just keep it there.
Are you excited for the new $50 downport of Undead Nightmare?
Let's talk. I'm not a Rockstar fan at all. I can't.
I'm mixed.
Last time I bought a Grand Theft Auto game was 4, and yeah, I kind
I
of just avoid their games now because I don't like what they've done. I've been kind of vocal about that. I'm not a fan of modern Rockstar.
Yeah, I'd say I'm in a similar boat because I bought Red Dead 2 at launch and I loved it, but that was the last title I've bought from them because I was already on a downslope with them. I had bought, GTA 4, loved that for a while. GTA 5 for the first year and a half or so was great, the content, playing with friends, but then they just decided to kind of ruin their content by flooding that game with the microtransactions that everyone relies on and quote unquote content for that without making anything new. And then we got to Red Dead 2 and I kind of jumped at it because I'm like, this is new content finally. And I loved Red Dead 1 and Undead Nightmare. And then the replayability kind of dropped off and then the multiplayer's introduced and I'm like, that's why. They're trying to make a GTA 5 too. And not only did it not work, they kind of abandoned it. And then the recent stuff they've released has been awful. Like the remakes that are super awesome. They run really well, and everyone loved them. Definitely great games.
I've been down on them for, like I said, since 4.
Yeah,
I had
same
zero
on.
hype for 5, and I was like, yeah, that's not cool. I agree, Maverick, that
Yeah,
Rockstar has been overrated for a very long time. Like, they're
which
not
sucks
doing
because they
fun
did have
stuff.
quality for a while.
They did have really cool stuff. I miss when they did cool stuff. Like Bully was a cool idea. I
I
didn't
loved Bully.
I didn't
Still
like the
have it.
game, but I'm not
I
trying to
didn't
be
play it the
mean at
right
it. But it was
way.
like it's an interesting idea. What about Oni?
Yeah.
Oni was a cool idea for a game. Oh well, can't do anything with that anymore. Like now they
Uh,
just like it's GTA or nothing.
yeah, and a lot of people don't even realize that Rockstar makes more than just GTA. They think of them as the Red Dead
What was
GTA
their
guys.
what was their racing game called again?
Uh,
Uh, I
fuck.
oh Midnight Club.
Yes. I
That
was
was
sitting here, I'm like, it's not a Need for Speed, it's not a Need for Speed. Midnight Club. And that was huge. The
yeah
second one
Midnight Club was
especially.
it was massive, and that's just
Yeah.
it's gone.
Was there ever any rhyme or reason to that, or they just kind of stopped making them?
I have no idea. I don't remember hearing anything about it. Just Midnight
I
Club's
remember the
gone.
PS2 era, they were huge.
What about the Warriors for a weird throwback game? Just like, let's make a game based on this
Based
movie
on the
from like
movie, yeah.
that you've probably never heard of ever.
To be honest, at the time, I hadn't heard of the movie yet. Later in life, I definitely did. But when I was looking at it on the 360, I had no idea this was based on a movie.
I thought it
I
was a
didn't even know what the game
PS2
was.
ish game. Did it get a 360 version?
I swear I saw it in like a GameStop or a Walmart when I was younger on the
You might be
360.
not. I don't think you're wrong. I don't. I remember it being a PS2 game. I might be wrong, but
No, no worries.
that's
I could be wrong too. Let me double check. It's a
yeah. That's what he was
2005
talking
beat 'em
about.
up.
The remaster.
It
I
was
don't.
on PS2, PSP, PS4, and Xbox. Doesn't specify anything else.
Okay, so they did do a re-release later. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna exit Steam here so you don't see people getting on
Either that
games.
or now that I think about it, it could have been the Xbox version on the Xbox 360. Because I know a lot of demo games were the last gen when the consoles first got put in because they didn't have many new launch titles.
Yeah, that's what's crazy though. Like GTA 5 literally went for a decade of just
Yeah,
putting
at
new
least now,
content,
yeah.
re-releasing. It's like they're on the third re-release. It's almost as bad as Skyrim at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's been on free platforms. It's not just that it's been a decade. It was on the 360, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X and S, or for PlayStation, 3, 4, and 5. That's crazy. Not in a, rude way to the company, but make a new game. This is not a massively multiplayer MMO. This is a sandbox game that you blow each other up and shoot each other, and then rob a bank, and then spend it on strippers. Sure, that could be fun for like a couple days. I don't know if I'd say a decade.
I see. I remember like we'd go to my buddy's house and he had GTA 3 with a bunch of mods on PC,
Yeah.
and we'd
I
all
also
like
love
take
the cheat
turns trying to
codes,
see who could get the highest like
like
there was
the
like a
longest driving with the
stoplight how you could
stars.
stay aligned with the highest star rating.
Yeah.
It was always a blast. Always
And they used to
absolutely.
have really fun missions that were actually like racing involved or combat with like they knew they had the janky combat, so there was a lot of stuff that like played on that. I remember Liberty City was a huge one with me. I loved that. I had that on the
Oh,
PSP.
Liberty City Stories. Yeah,
Yeah, I played the crap out of that one. I had the cheat codes memorized. Um, and there was just so much to do, and it was a lot of fun.
yeah.
Even
Liberty City
though,
Stories was a really cool PSP game.
yeah, and like there was obviously way less content than GTA 5 had, but it kept my interest for so much longer because it had a variety of things. It knew what it was trying to be. It had these fun little cheat codes. It wasn't constantly asking me for more money. Ugh. And to respond to chat real quick,
Where's
yes,
Bully? Yeah, I know,
where's
right?
Bully? Where's Bully 2? The bullying. I mean, could that game even be released today? Do you think Social Justice Warriors would be okay with a game about you being an asshole, specifically called Bully? Like, or what if
Well,
it's
the whole
Bully
idea
2,
of Bully was
E-Bully?
basically GTA in a prep school,
Yeah, it was trying
right?
to be, like, obviously it wasn't as intense, but it was still rough. It was like the teen version, even though there was obviously some stuff that made it rated M.
Well,
Um,
didn't they have another game that was like medieval bully or something?
I
Or
don't
is it
know if that
someone
was
else made that
them.
one?
I think that was a different company, but it looked just like it was a
Yeah,
Rockstar
it
game.
definitely was trying to be that era of Rockstar.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think
the
it's got like
thing.
a 2 star too, like
Rockstar's
review
fallen
wise.
off.
Yeah, Manhunt
Manhunt,
would be dope, but I don't know for the same reason I don't know if they'll remake Bully. If they do it because it's basically a snuff, but in game
yeah,
form,
Manhunt is
which is
like
cool,
a
but
snuff film.
yeah, like it's interesting to play as, and with today's graphics, if you put the Hitman team on that, oh my God, you could have an insane Manhunt free or Manhunt the same way they remade Hitman and called it Hitman.
Hmm.
Um, you could have an insane game, but due to censorship, SJWs, and the level of stupidity we have with people who would try to recreate shit like this, I don't know if they're gonna release one.
I
And I
mean,
say that
Postal
because,
exists. I know not on
yeah, but it's
Xbox.
on such a low scale. Like, Postal is also so over the top cartoony and edgy that it's hard to take serious. But if you had like Nathan Drake style
What you're
graphics and a
saying that
realism,
that Honey is not serious?
which isn't,
Honey, if you don't know what I'm
hmm,
talking about, don't look it up.
hmm,
Prachi and Connie. I think it's
I
Connie or
I
Connie.
think it's because it has such of a smaller following and it's PC exclusive for most of the messed up stuff, and then dumbed down on consoles. People don't take it as seriously. Do you remember Hatred? That was blown out of proportion by people, and not only was it not that bad, it wasn't that big of a game. Like it was decently small, but that gave it the fame it needed, and it got all this crazy hype. And that was nothing compared to what some of these games either are or could be today.
I feel like Hatred was a game that's just so edgy and over the top that it just doesn't. It was like I'm trying to. It was trying to get the hate likes basically,
Yeah, and it
and
was like
people fell for it hook, line, and sinker. But
exactly. Oh, especially the media hyping it up like this game is worse than that time we had a school shooting. It's like, what? This reminded me of the time my dad left me and the Twin Towers burned. It's like, you need to calm the fuck down.
I mean,
Exactly. Edgy for the sake of edgy.
yeah. So hatred is basically that. I mean, as someone who did make a stupid joke when someone ran into the Twin Towers and didn't know it was a full bread
Mhm.
like making a joke with limited information because people are freaking out is one thing. Making an entire game about said joke
Yeah.
is not good.
And it's also a different intent. Like sometimes when you make a joke like that, it's to make light of the situation. It's to cope with what's going on. If you sit down and work for months to a year or so making this joke game, it's different with the intent. You're taking time. This is a project. This isn't just in the moment.
Yeah, it's one thing to have like a silly reference to something, but yeah, I don't know. Would Manhunt survive? I don't know. I don't. Forgive me
Yeah,
for being ignorant. I think I played a little bit of Manhunt, but I remember playing like the super old Manhunt that was like more of a adventure game. So everything kind of gets jumbled in my head.
I mean, here's
You
the best
you
way to
just
think
hunt
of it.
down regular people, or in the
It was more like there were cameras set up so that you would basically be killing people for this group that's watching you, and you could kill them in all sorts of different ways. It was basically like, you know how games are like,
oh,
choose your own adventure, your choices matter. This was like, do you want to shank this guy in the back of the head with glass? Do you want to find this rope and strangle him? It it was trying to give you cool, creative ways to murder everyone around you and then cool camera shots for it. So the idea
it
was
definitely reminds me of some of
interesting.
the movies that exist. I don't understand why it would be an issue.
That's the thing. It sucks and it's stupid double standards, but you can have stuff in a TV show and a movie, and people would never allow it in games. People were actually talking about this recently with the Baldur's Gate free stuff, where they're like, you will let people walk in on a sex scene with dicks out, and they showed a scene. There's apparently someone fucking an ogre at one point, and you walk in and you see everything. They're like, you'll
If you
allow
have the
this.
nudity turned on,
Oh,
there's a
well,
toggle at the start of the game that lets you turn it
yeah,
off if you don't want to see it.
yeah. But what I mean
I
is,
just need to
it's
remind
still
people that
allowed.
that's a thing because it drives me nuts
Yeah,
when people are like, "There's so much nudity in this game." It's like you can just turn it off. It literally asks you if you want it on or
yeah.
off.
And there's usually a filter for that stuff, if even if they don't want to for legal reasons.
It's
But
a you asked for this kind of thing. You could just frame it
yeah,
different.
yeah. And the thing that the person was frustrated about is they're like, you'll put this in a game, or The Last of Us, you'll put a sex scene there, but you will be afraid to put animated characters of legal age and all that doing anything. Like, and I'm not saying that level. I'm just saying like it's a double standard in that you can do almost anything as long as it's a realistic artsy thing. But then as soon as you try to make it just normal standard or animated or even in a goofy art style, Borderlands even, they would never allow something like that. And it's goofy. You need
Well, I
to either have
mean, there's all sorts of art and well, like artists and animation of like well, even Western animation of like characters having sex or doing sexy things,
yeah,
and it's so bazonkers to me that it's like, oh, because it's a Japanese style and these characters look
yeah.
young or whatever. It's like anime characters don't look very realistic most of the time, to be
Well,
honest.
and that's the thing. The crazy thing to me is that in the realistic looking games, that's when it's okay because it's art. But in the non-realistic, art styles where nobody is going to be assuming this is based on them or taking offense to it, that's when it's not okay. Only when it looks like you might have walked in on something really awkward and have nightmares about it is it okay. Ugh.
I don't understand the double standard at all. It's very silly. Like, Steam's got the same thing too. It's like, oh, we can't have sex in games. Yeah, but Cyberpunk 2077's over there, and
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3's over there,
And
and
it's always silly what is allowed and what isn't. Like you can't have sexy things, but you can rip someone's head off and then suck the juices that come out of it. That's fine. That's only violent. But a pee-pee? That's gross. No pee-pees.
I'm actually I want to because I don't want to say too much if you haven't played Shadows of the Dam. But
Mhm.
there's a weird scene in Shadows of the Dam where you're like going through like this darkness area and there's a giant Paula and she's like posing and doing all this stuff and she's in basically lingerie and she's in negligee for like the majority of the game
Yeah,
except for the
this when she gets
beginning.
grabbed. Yeah,
Well, they grab her and she's in negligee for the rest of the game and they keep killing her in like awful ways
yeah.
to
But
get at
she gets better.
Garcia. And it's just so weird that it's like, oh no, we can't have this craziness, but we could decapitate this lady, but because it's realistic art style, we can have this lady basically in next to nothing and no will bat an
Yeah.
eyelash. But if that was an anime
What?
girl,
Yeah,
could
and
we?
that's what's crazy to me. The idea that sex sells, but also sex bad. What? You gotta pick one. Does sex sell, or are you trying
Europe
to ban it from everything?
is more open to nudity but hates violence.
Yeah,
Kind of
to the
interesting.
point where In Contra, all of the characters were robots and not people.
Oh,
So if you play,
Robopractor thing. I don't
yeah,
recall
like if you play Contra,
that.
even on the collection where it has every version, every time you boot up the EU version instead of the American, all the characters are robots and robot skins. Um, and instead of blood, they have
Everybody's getting
like
it on. Yeah,
electricity.
that's the. Yeah, Rin's got a comment there. It's
Yeah,
not sex bad. It's underage sex bad, but only if you're video game. Not
yeah.
not if you're Hollywood. Hollywood help
If you're
underage
Hollywood, you
sex.
can make a show about underage sex, and it's
Underage
okay.
sex good. It's like what?
I
I,
also don't understand the idea of the no, what if think of the children? Like, if you hide everything from the children, they're going to go apeshit when they finally find it with it. I mean, I went to a Catholic school as a kid. I know how it works. If you try to repress or hide something, instead of just showing it and saying this is what normal people do, then it becomes this fascinating taboo thing that they have to see. If you just
See, you say
calmly
you
make
went
it
to a
part of everyday life,
yeah.
go on.
See, you say you went to a Catholic school. The local Catholic high school had a prostitution ring when I was in high school.
It's hilarious. I mean, I feel bad to say this, but most of the kids that went to my
The
Catholic
whole
school
reason, the whole reason that the Catholic school they changed their uniforms. So they used to have they used to wear skirts.
hmm
Like
yeah, we had
all the
that.
women wore skirts, but they'd start not wearing underwear underneath it, so they could just for whatever
Easy
reason.
access.
And then all of a sudden, you just see the Catholic school kids wearing pants, all of them. All of a sudden, it's
Crazy.
like,
Yeah,
hmm, hmm.
exactly. Rin brought up a good point. It's like I was saying with if you make it sound taboo, people will get interested because everyone wants what they can't have because you just want to seek out things. But if you don't have the knowledge to do things safely or correctly, then now you've found this forbidden knowledge and don't know what to do with it. How are you supposed to do the right thing?
Well,
No one taught you what the right thing was.
that's the other joke is I know Sue Johansson was her name, I believe. She died recently, but she used to have a show on that was like sex education, and you could phone
hmm
in and you could ask whatever, like
See, that's a
literally
great
whatever,
idea.
because she was a nurse. She was a registered
hmm
nurse, and she did it for like ever. Like I always remember it being on, and she'd answer like almost anything.
Yeah,
And there are
that
times where
that's
she's like, "You should go to the hospital right now."
yeah.
And I'm
Well,
not
that's the
kidding.
thing. When you're told that this is bad and not good to talk about, not only do you repress these things, you're scared to talk about it to people. And it could be for health reasons that you need to know. It could be someone's in trouble. I mean, God forbid, what if someone that's young gets raped and they don't understand how any of that works and they're scared to talk about it because they're experiencing all these awful things? For the safety of kids, I think you shouldn't censor it. You should be open and honest and just try to cultivate a better experience that way. Because let's be honest, if a kid wants to have sex, and I don't mean a kid, I'm talking about teenagers. If a teen wants to have sex, they're going to find a way to do it. It doesn't matter if you tell them right from wrong. It
Life
doesn't
finds
matter
a
if you try
way.
to hide it. None of this, let find a way. Once you hit puberty, your body starts giving you these reactions and emotions. You know, when you see a girl and you think, she's hot, instead of thinking, yeah, that's Cindy, she lives down the street. Like, it's a natural occurring thing. It just seems crazy that you're going to try to pretend it doesn't exist as if you could possibly
Oh,
hide it.
what was that movie? I remember watching this movie, and it was like a horror esque movie, and I had to turn it off. I didn't watch too much of it,
hmm
but like it was this super religious girl who's been homeschooled, and she's like gets put into a public high school because the state demands it or something,
hmm
and uh she like has her period and she starts freaking out, and then she
Yeah.
goes the teacher's like calls her mom and is like, it's okay, you tell her it's natural. She never did anything. And
Yeah.
then mom takes her home and starts whipping her to get the sin out of her. And I'm like, what?
Dude, she's gonna have to do that every month. That's exhausting. But
Like,
that's a
holy
perfect example.
crap. Like it
You
was some sort
cannot
of
hide something from someone, and it's so much scarier. Like, I was taught at puberty, at the Catholic school, they separated the boys and girls, and they at least talked about that stuff. I was scared at first because I didn't know why I was suddenly growing hair on my body and like my legs, and it was just weird because your body changes and you've never experienced it. I cannot imagine being a girl and having a period and not knowing why I'm suddenly bleeding. Like, outside of having a period, you should not leak blood at any time. That's terrifying. Just, I can't imagine these poor kids, just what some of this is. And I know it sounds a bit off track, but I feel like that's what happens with censorship. You create this taboo, secret thing, and people want to discover it. You can't hide that. If you're just honest and open with it, no one's gonna go searching because nobody's like, "Yo, what is this?" They're just like, "Yeah, that's normal, dude. Everyone has a penis." It becomes a non-issue, and I
Look,
feel like that's
I
a
don't know a
problem.
lot about periods. I just remember watching that movie and being very uncomfortable. Not because that she had the period, but because she was getting like physically abused because she had one.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
that's the
that's
funny.
absolutely
How dare
ridiculous. I'm
you?
like,
You're not allowed to have these anymore.
yeah,
Uh,
what?
that's not how it
What?
works. It'd be the same if, like, the first time a male teen got, a boner, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. And then someone saw his pants sticking up and they beat him for it. It's like, you're going to be beating this kid so often. You should stop. It's not how it works.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's the thing. You're right, though. If you keep, but the thing is, if they keep telling people what they can and can't watch, like it makes me think about like the weird porn restrictions that like Japan has for realistic
Hmm.
porn as it is. Like even if you've seen a, a censored piece
I know
of
exactly where you're going with
manga or
this.
whatever, it's like so weird what you can and can't show.
Yeah, and
There's like
it's
specific
hilarious because you'll see,
parts.
yeah, you'll see mosaics, and it's like, oh, we're not allowed to see it. And then you'll see non-mosaics, and it's like a black line over one spot and a tiny T shape somewhere else, and you're like, this isn't height. What? It's still there. Like, what are you trying to
Even
prove?
it's like what? You can't look at this. This is
Yeah,
too hot for TV, too
exactly.
hot for
This is
your
illegal for
pages.
your tiny
Like
eyes.
I I never understood the like if you're gonna have allow adult content in any capacity on your platform, you should allow most of it. I
Yeah,
understand there are restrictions that you have to follow and laws you have to follow, but it comes back to this thing where it's like, oh, well, these characters look young. That means it's they're not
not
if
only
they're
that,
not real.
no one would have been thinking of that until it was brought to their attention, too. I know as a kid, I didn't seek out anything when I saw these adult references because I did not understand. It was only when someone made a big deal out of it that I was suddenly curious about what's going on. And I
Yeah,
think that's what happens with the censorship.
that's like if you're
When you put up
watching.
that stop sign,
I remember watching Universal Urban Commando.
mhm,
Uh, and there's like the foreign investors and they're Japanese, and there's like this offhand comment about this dude, and it's like when he shovels, he uses both hands. And it's like you never get that as a kid, but now you're like, oh man,
yeah.
oh
And that's the
man,
thing. Not only would the kid not get it, but if suddenly everyone made a big deal out of it, now the kid's curious. He's going to ask questions. It
yeah,
reminds me of that Arthur joke. Do you remember DW standing in front of Arthur's door and she's like, "This sign can't stop me because I can't read." Like, if you put something
yeah,
in the way, it's not going to stop someone if they're determined. They're just going to go,
yeah.
well, now I have to beat this. You're challenging me.
Well, this actually brings me perfectly into one of the topics we missed last week. The ESRB wants to have facial scans of people
Yeah,
for
that,
age restricted content. How about no?
yeah,
But
there's so
I
many
have
reasons.
I think I have different reasons. What are reasons you think this shouldn't exist, Justin?
Well, for like the most basic human decency ones, I don't think people should have access to a face scan, um, especially in the modern day where we have AI that is replicating voices and facial features. Um, I think giving away access to that is extremely dangerous in this time, and also really not cool in terms of like security and personal safety. Giving away access of anything is almost like doxing yourself at this point, and giving away such a personal thing. I mean, especially on the internet where everyone thrives on anonymity and living behind this mask they've created. Not that that's always a good thing, but how many people are willingly going to give that up to play GTA 5,
Here's the other
6?
thing, though. We're talking about minors also, and they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, we're not gonna keep the pictures."
We just need a picture of your
Yeah,
baby.
uh-huh. Yeah, I heard that before. Oh, we
Yeah,
won't
and it's
keep
not
the
even a conspiracy
pictures.
thing. Yeah, if it's been proven so many times in the past, it's not a conspiracy either to say, yeah, I know you're not gonna,
Yeah,
delete
no,
it.
it's not that I don't believe the ESRB. Like, I understand that there's a problem and you have to fix that problem,
Hmm.
but
Totally agree.
it shouldn't be let's throw AI at the problem and that'll fix it. What about people with
Yeah.
baby faces? What about people
Well,
who
the
look
perfect
older?
subreddit for that, 13 or 30. I don't know
I
if you've
had
ever
a
seen it, but
yeah, I had a
oh, go ahead.
friend who was bald. Like his hair fell out at like
Hmm.
16.
Yeah, I knew a kid like that too.
So I
It
mean
was
like
awful.
and what's the
And then it
scanner
goes the
gonna say?
opposite too, where you have like a 30-year-old with a baby face, and people are like, "I'm sorry, I need to see the ID," and they're like, "Okay, I'm old enough to drink, but," and they're like 40.
You know, like, whatever.
Yeah, that subreddit is perfect for that. I found one time, 13 or 30, people will post pictures of someone and joke about like, what do you think their age is? And it's always like a very baby-faced old person or like a kid who looks like they're 78 years old. And the photos are great because it almost looks like someone just photoshops old people onto kids and kids onto old people, but it's real people and it's just funny, especially when people submit their own. They're like, "How old do you think I am?" It's like, oh my God, I'm sorry, you must get teased all the time, but people are good sports about it. But yeah,
Yeah, it's just
there's not
dumb.
much you can gain with a facial recognition. But the worst part is when they say we won't keep it. Who is we? The ESRB? Okay, but who is gonna keep it? Because someone might say for legal
Hey,
reasons
yes, sir.
or for blah blah blah, we need to take a look at this. And suddenly it's out of your hands, and now someone else gets to keep it,
It's
whether
not
it's the
like the
government,
ESA
whether you get doxxed.
had people's addresses, like thousands of people's addresses on their website in a text document that was unencrypted.
Yeah.
It's not like that
And I
ever
feel like too,
happened.
and it's not like any company ever has been doxxed for information for credit cards. The last thing I need is someone who can now provide my face when they're saying my security answers, like, can I see your ID? Yeah, here's my face. And it's a perfect replica because they have literally my face. Pass. That's insane. Pass.
That's a fun topic there. We can talk about that in a second. But I
Yeah, we
wanted to say
actually lost it for like 4 days.
there's one other thing about the this facial scan thing
Yeah, they're
that's
not let you
also
scan your penis either.
really bad. No, no, is that if you're taking pictures of stuff and they're gonna keep the photos for any
Oh,
amount of
absolutely.
time.
For legal reasons, they should and have to.
Yeah, but the problem is you have all this data and you become a bigger and bigger and bigger thing. It's like this guy's got all this data. So people are gonna try and
Exactly.
hack you to
You,
steal the data.
exactly. And you paint that target on your back. Not only is it bad for you, it's bad for every single person you are now holding data for. And
Yeah.
there's nothing to protect them from that. It's the ESRB. It's not like this is the FBI, where they have government money put aside. This is for video games too. We're not even talking about like the movie rating system. We're talking about a more niche in terms of media, uh, specific thing. And we already have kids that are accidentally using credit cards that are their parents. How easy do you think it's going to be for a kid to accidentally snap a picture of himself and then get doxxed, and now all the parents' shit is gone because they have access to, this kid, which lets them
Well, so I
access the
mean, like,
parents in a
if you
different
take
spot.
a picture, like, if you're a kid, right? You take a picture of your face or whatever, and you're in the living room. There could be whatever in the background.
Exactly.
I don't know if you ever watched Liquida's Recoil.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've really want to see
You
the whole
see,
thing
like
because I love the
when
characters.
there's these guys chasing this one lady because she took a picture with her boyfriend, and their
Yep.
arms deal's like in the background of the picture,
Yep. That kind
like
of
'cause
stuff
they're
happens
across
all
the
the time
street
on
from the
social
building.
media too. Yeah. Like
That's
someone
what I
will be
mean.
like, I know where you are because I recognize the background. And it'll be nothing. It's like blurry. And it's like, nope, I know where you are now. It's scary.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. I don't know if you remember like that lady who the little girl who tried to like tell 4chan off, but they could never
I
find her,
remember, I remember that actually. Oh,
and they sent like all sorts of random crap to her house. God.
yeah.
It's like don't do stupid things.
And all that's going to do also, because not everyone's going to do it, it's going to make certain groups of people very susceptible to losing their data or getting hacked or losing other things because you have a lot of access to stuff now. But since not everyone's going to do it, it's going to paint a target on very specific people. And I think that's not fair. Not that I want everyone to get a target, but
Yeah,
it's easier to attack a smaller group than a big one. So you're kind of painting two targets on your back.
always. So Maverick here was saying that he's generally surprised we got Grim Guardians, given the thing that happened.
Yeah.
Um, the thing with Grim or Gal Guardians, depending on what you want to call, changing the name just makes the joke and trying to hide what it's supposed to be called not as fun. It's
Yeah.
probably hard to read because it's still in the shrink wrap, but it's it was supposed to be like Gal Guardians Demon Purge was supposed to fit up with Galgun Double Pace
Yeah.
or Double Peace.
But it wasn't specifically because they didn't want that series on here, right?
No, it's because
Wasn't it
someone
like
had the
illegal?
name. The Grimguard was well, the whole thing with Galgun was ID at Xbox seems to have had a problem with the concept of
Titties.
defending. There's not even any exposed titties.
I know.
This is the worst part
Shara
about it.
is
Like,
so
if I
angry
try
about
to
anime.
explain what you do in Galgun, it's all
Oh,
you
it
all
sounds
you're
awful
doing
on
basic.
paper.
It's a meanie sort of rail shooter where people when these girls are completely under the stupid spell and they're completely obsessed with you and you have to basically try and de-stress like I don't know how to explain it without making it sound really dirty.
Oh no, I can do that. You just
But
have to shoot them to knock some sense into them.
yes, but it's called an XT shot. And then there's the Doki Doki field and weird stuff where you like shoot them and try and get their profile card. It is a little like creepy, but it's kind of funny at the same time.
It's
De-stress
definitely
them.
risque, but it's not like, oh my
You
god,
don't
that's
see
nudity. It's
anything though. I think the worst you see is like a girl in a bathing suit.
yeah.
They
Which,
never
by the
get
way,
topless. They never
yeah,
lose any. It's like, oh, but because they're high school girls, it's like none of this is real, and you're playing a high school boy. I think
yeah.
thematically, like, it's a niche game. It was never going to
Oh yeah.
be. I think it's not like
It
it's
was our
Akiba's
cod.
Trip,
No, it was our cod.
undressed, undead and
Yes,
undressed, or whatever it's called. I
I
can't
think
remember
there's
what
a
it's called.
sequel to it too. Cuba
Yeah,
Strips something
the
something,
the
but with
anime
two
is on
D's.
Xbox though.
Yeah, well, that's the funniest thing. You look up anime stuff, you'll get like a specific add-on for a game you don't have, or like an anime referencing it, but you don't get the product. And you're like, why? This is stupid.
It's so weird. Like Galgun is a joke. It's a joke game. It's literally just a parody on the old rail shooters. Getting
Yeah,
rid of
I'm.
them is just dumb. And then it's like, oh, but you can have it if you have stupid references to tentacle rape and that the tentacle rape joke in 2D where you can't see anything. But it's not like you could see anything in 3D because usually they use a 2D image anyway.
But here's the thing I have a problem with. When they're like, you aren't the right age or demographic for this, blah, blah, let the consumer decide. Because in this game, you are playing as something. You are not supposed to be thinking as yourself. It's like if I played an MMO or a create a character and I made a female, I'm now playing as that. I don't believe I am that because I am playing something. I am able to differentiate between fantasy and reality. And if you don't believe that your customer can do that, that is a problem. You should not be making something that you're terrified the customer will have problems perceiving as reality and fiction and unable to defer. Which is even funnier with anime because this shit does not look like real life. None
No,
of this
and it's
does.
absolutely ridiculous. Like this is girls like falling out of trees and stuff to try and give you
Yeah, I love when they come out of
letters
the sewer and
and
you
they're like
shoot
out
them
of
and they fall
sewer
back
grades.
in.
It's a joke on. It's a parody rail
The House of the
shooter.
Dead joke. Yeah,
Yeah,
or Time Crisis
basically.
even.
There's
They're in
like
the
a
silliest of
loosely
spots.
weaved plot there, but
And the one I have on the Switch, you don't even have to shoot them, which, by the way, it's not like it reveals clothes. You shoot them with magic, but you can also vacuum up the little demons near them, so you don't even have to shoot them. Or you can shoot the little demons instead of the girl for like bonus points. You,
yeah,
ugh, it's so not trying to be what it's being painted as, and it's frustrating that people will jump on a bandwagon and say it's good that we don't have pedophile games like this, and then go play something that is significantly creepier and worse because they don't understand, and they're not willing to understand. They're just willing to be angry. It's frustrating.
it is very frustrating. Absolutely, just the zonkers. It's like, oh man, I just want to play a game and have fun.
Yeah,
Nah,
and and to anyone that says the things like we don't need the pedophile game, not only is that not true, it is not only this game. Your crusade to stop everything will continue to censor more and more games until suddenly it affects you. Why isn't Postal on here? Well, it's not a pedophile game, is it? But apparently it goes against the same things. So, why is the Ninja Booby game not on here? Yeah, that you're holding. Oh, because now it's against these things. Why don't we have these small things that only have a tinge of that? Well, because you were okay with the other one, they just kept going. You need to
yeah,
stop and take a stand for this, even if it sounds silly, because it's going to keep getting worse.
yeah. We'll keep getting worse. It's like, don't make me think of that again. Omega Labyrinth was the start, and it's got just
Yeah,
gotten progressively and progressively worse. You give people the you give people this, oh, we can't have this content because you are never gonna play it.
exactly. It's the same people that are talking about Baldur's Gate 3 as a PlayStation exclusive. This is the best. It's so good for us, blah, blah. They're never going to touch this game. They're praising the fact that one console isn't giving it sales while also not giving it sales on their console. Nobody wins there.
Maybe like one of them will play it, but I've seen people like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, Starfield's gonna be a boring third person game, and I'm like, you ain't gonna play. Obviously, you don't know anything about either of these games because it's like one's got turn-based combat, a thing you hated last week.
Exactly.
Yeah, The thing is there are a lot of like adult games and mature games, but not like anything that's like risque.
I mean, Leisure Suit Larry is not terrible, but I could understand if something like that wouldn't make it onto a platform way more than something like an etchy game with an anime girl. Because it's like, what are you doing, Lisa Shit Larry? Your goal is to get fucked. Fuck all the girls. In creepy and or dumb ways if you can, but just at the end of the day, you're a tiny man, fuck the girls. That's okay. And we even have one on Xbox. However, anime girls, illegal, bad, banned. Only pedophiles like animation.
Yeah, no,
Drawings are for bad people. Real life is for good people.
I don't get it. Like it's like, oh, it's got sexual themes. It's bad. We can't have this.
Also, does not almost everything? Like, why is a
Hold on,
realistic
I
looking
want to check
one?
something quick. What's Cyberpunk's one say? Blood, gore, violence, nudity, strong language.
Why does
Hold on,
Mass
wait,
Effect
wait,
let
wait.
me do this thing say?
Strong sexual content. There's a difference.
Oh, we're not
Okay,
talking about
hold
baby
on.
sexual content.
So, so sexual themes,
Which doesn't mean sex, it just means lewd themes.
nudity, strong language, strong sexual content. Okay,
Hmm.
sexual
But it's
themes.
but it's because one looks realistic versus one not looking like normal humans anyway.
I think if I have a physical for another game with sex in it. Does the Quarry have sex in it? I think it has
In
nudity in
what?
it.
In what?
The Quarry.
Oh, the quarry. I thought you said Omori, and I was like, I hope not.
Amore. No, no, no. That's amore.
The quarry might because it reminds me
Mild
of like,
sexual themes.
yeah, it's got the teenagers, doing hot stuff before they get killed by a slasher kind of theme.
It's still in plastic wrap. I was
I mean,
saving it for Halloween. I just got it at a good sale, so I was like, yeah.
I wonder if I can sort my games by their rating. Is that a thing?
This is the thing. I kind of feel like the there's a problem here with the 17 plus rating.
I think there's a lot of problems, personally.
Uh, I don't
Also,
know
why
if the
17?
zero.
Like, it's just so weird. Nothing significant happens at that age.
Oh man, this game's illegal. This is for Japan only.
Rip. You're gonna get doxxed now by the Japanese.
Galgun double pay. I'm just trying to read the zero. It's
Oh,
just
okay, look, you
zero
can look at
D.
couch co-ops. Yeah.
It's D.
D's nuts?
Rated D.
Yeah, for D's nuts. They did it just for the joke.
No.
I don't think I can sort by genre, which is weird.
There is a kanji here I don't know.
I mean, by rating.
Top. Yeah. That would be just, too good. Two.
Why don't I check the new games and just see if there's anything that has possible sexual themes, just even in the last week? Let's see.
You know what's funny?
There is, by the way, The Expanse. I found it like a day in. Violence, blood and gore, sexual themes, strong violence.
What is it? Strong sexual themes? Do you have sex in the tank?
I
I don't get it.
wish. I don't know.
I honestly don't understand. That's what I mean. Uh, blood, violence, and strong language gets you mature.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
is that game rated T or rated M, the equivalent Galgun?
D is 17 plus.
Okay.
It says at the bottom. I know it's hard to see. I
Yeah.
believe. Do I have anything rated? 5 here is rated D.
Gotcha. Oh, I appreciate this rating. I was curious because I'm like,
Oh,
what
here we
would the
go.
1300 game rating get? It says T, but it's diverse content, so
15
discretion's
plus,
advised.
C rated.
What
Uh,
does 15 plus mean?
this is 15 on it.
T. I
But
just
the
mean
thing
like
is, the notice
what
on the
age group
back
is
is
that?
not. The notice on the back is just generic. It doesn't actually tell you.
Hmm.
So, so Cedar seems to be like, this is the age rating you get, and you don't get the little like blurbs because all three
Hmm.
of the Japanese imports are the exact same. On the back, they just have this notice, and you can look it up on the safety board. But their ratings are also on the end caps.
Gotcha. I personally like that better, but I know some collectives don't.
Well, it's easy to spot them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Damn.
The rating thing is
Exoprimal
weird.
doesn't have any sex. No dinosaur fucking. Sad day.
I just think
Just
it's
blood
weird that
strewn.
violence and partial nudity.
Yeah, violence is such a universally okay thing, but even partial nudity is frowned upon. Weird. Mostly because sex is a natural thing that happens, and mowing someone down with a heavy machine gun is not. I know if I was an alien
Suggestive
or
themes,
just. Oh, suggestive. Yeah, if I
intense
was an
violence.
alien, or if I was just someone who's never been in the community, like I was grown in the woods, um, I'd be super confused by how things work because it genuinely doesn't make sense. Murder, violence, okay. Natural sexual things, or even the human body, something everyone has. Bad. Illegal.
Violence, blood, language. Teen. Violence, blood, strong language. M. Partial
The
nudity.
language has been working out.
How new does dude? Go
The
into the
language never
galaxy.
skipped a
I'm
leg day.
curious now. Just gonna keep going through these.
Yeah.
Loud
Well, that's
blood,
what.
wild suggestive theme, use of alcohol, violence, and language. What do you think this game is rated? Going by what we've seen so far.
Probably E for everyone.
No, it's T for teen.
Oh, man. That's basically everyone.
Basically everyone.
I mean, look at this game. It has violence, blood, sexual content, nudity, use of drug, and strong language. That's fine. It's all right.
Okay, hold the phone here. Violence, blood, gore, partial nudity, wild language, use of tobacco. Rating.
Teen.
Oh, you're right.
See, it's because I feel like teen covers such a broad group, and mature should only be used when it should be mature or adults, but they don't. They're just like, it has more violence, throw an M on it. We know the kids are going to play it anyway, but throw an M on it. Like, these companies know the kids are playing COD, they're playing, GTA. They don't care because that's sales. So why should we care about the fake rating that nobody cares about? It's obviously not doing its job. It's only hurting the people who are the right ages and
Do,
want to play these things.
do you remember the partial nudity in Persona 5? Because I don't.
Uh, the only technical one I can think of is when On's in a bathing suit, but it's not On, it's imaginary On.
I mean, she's in a
Because
swimsuit a couple times if you follow her social link.
yeah, but does that count as partial nudity? It's a swimsuit. What is considered partial? Like, there's definitely no nudity, but it's suggestive themes. What is
Sexual
nudity
themes,
considered?
I agree with because there was the rape and the teacher trying to date, whatever.
Yeah.
Strong language, okay. Drug references, yep.
Thanks,
But
Doc.
sexual themes is partial nudity.
But what do you mean by boobs? Because there's obviously no nipples because that's nudity, and
Universal,
everyone has boobs. Some people just have better boobs, but man boobs are a thing. Like, would partial nudity be a guy in swim trunks with no shirt on? Is that technically partial nudity? Because I think you can
I'm
have the
just
guys in swimsuits too. I guess I
okay.
don't know because I don't think of it as black and white.
Okay, this is extra confusing now. Okay, another one. T or M, here we go. Alcohol reference, blood, language, suggestive themes, and violence.
E for everyone, or
No,
E10
agree.
plus.
T or M.
I'm gonna say that one's an M.
It's a T. This is a kind of silly
But
game, but kind of fun.
but it had the same things in it that made some things M. I
It
genuinely
doesn't.
thought the game was rated M too.
Yeah, I thought so too. And there's a complete there's a scene where Alpha's basically naked, and that doesn't count as partial nudity. Where's the partial nudity in Persona 5? What?
uh,
Like, I
do
actually
they
agree with
count
Persona
like some of
5
the
being rated.
personas?
To be fair, I agree with Persona 5 being rated for an older audience
Oh, for sure.
than
The very
Tales of
first
Arise.
chapter is all about suicide.
Yeah, and like and extortion and all sorts of
Yes.
like bad things. So I agree it
Yeah.
should be like a 17. Maybe this rating system needs a few more steps in between.
Yeah. Like Stray is rated E10 plus for animated blood and fantasy violence. Now tell me, what the fuck is fantasy violence? All of this is fantasy. Do you mean cartoonish? does that apply to art styles or specific genres? Like, is
Okay,
Borderlands fantasy violence or normal violence?
okay, here's one. Blood, gore, violence.
Huh?
This one's got blood and gore and violence. That's the ratings on
Yeah.
it. T or M.
Well, based on the stupid shit they do, I'm gonna guess M because gore is worse than normal violence.
Nope, it's T. What is the system? The system is
None of it
messed
makes
up.
sense.
It
You
doesn't. It
you
doesn't
have
make
a
any
game
sense.
that has the exact same listings as another game, and they're both rated differently.
Okay,
It
violence,
doesn't make
blood,
any sense.
gore, suggestive themes, language. This is weird. Like I've never really
Foxville is
like.
rated E for tobacco. That's the only
Uh.
thing it has,
Uh.
tobacco.
Um. This game has suggestive themes, mild cartoon violence.
Wait, there's cartoon violence and fantasy violence and normal violence? The fuck is the difference? They're all cartoons. They're all animated art. And it's all violence. God is
Okay,
fantasy
I think we need
violence.
to bring up the ESRB site and look at this. We just went on a weird tangent.
I'm sorry, it's because there's so much stupid, it's actually breaking my brain. My brain is breaking down. Oh, I've got
Okay,
a really good one. Wait. Blood, strong language, violence. What's that rated?
blood, strong language, and violence. I'm gonna go with teen.
You'd think. No, that one's M. That's Immortals of Avium, the game that they've been showing off all the time. It only has blood, strong language, and normal violence. Not strong violence, no gore. Which, by the way, yours was blood and
Hold
gore, and
on.
that was
Same,
teen.
hold on. Same series here. Fantasy violence and mild cartoon violence.
How do you have two types of violence? It's all violence. That's not how violence works. Sanity.
Phoenix. I just think it's funny that one's
Comic
got violence,
mischief.
blood, gore, and partial nudity, and it's teen rated because they're pixel art.
Yeah, I still think it's crazy that this one's rated M based on what it's telling me. I also
Yeah,
love that
let's
Madden
actually
has
look
a
at.
rating.
Here's the thing, though. Learn more about the ratings. Okay, when's the last time you saw something get an adult only rating?
I was gonna say I have not seen AO or rating pending in over a decade and a half, and I get
Uh,
why they can't advertise certain things when it's rated for adults. So that's why no one risks it because it's commercial suicide, which sucks
General
because there's a lot
content
of games that
suitable for
could
ages
be.
17 and up may contain intense violence, blood, gore, sexual content, and/or strong language. Okay,
And what's AO
meant
considered?
for adult only may include violence, graphical sexual content, and gambling with real currency.
That's just all games now. Throw that shit into E10 plus.
So if you gambling, you just get AO right away, just right there.
Which is another reason that they were fighting for so long with the loot boxes to not call it gambling, to call it
Oh,
like
sorry. There's
well,
two. There's this one's rated regular E, and this is 10 plus E.
yeah,
My bad.
you 9-year-olds get fucked, 10-year-olds only. But isn't that one of the reasons that EA was fighting with Star Wars and stuff for the loot boxes not to count as gambling? They were like, it's mystery transactions or something like that. They had
Oh,
a stupid
it's surprise mechanic.
surprise, yeah, surprise mechanic. They were so against having it be called gambling because then it's suddenly rated adult and you can't advertise and certain places ban it. So they were like, it's surprise mechanics, surprise fun that takes your money. That's
Simulated
insanity, by the
gambling
way.
and/or infrequent use of language.
Wait, does that mean Pokemon Red should be AO because that had gambling?
No, teen. You if you have simulated gambling, you get teen. If you have real gambling, you get adult only. So I just have a whole bunch of other games I want to look through quick. But
Wait, that
content
means
is
GTA should
considerably
be adult.
suitable for 13 and up. I think the system needs an overhaul.
Yeah. Also, why would we have teen rating and E10 plus? You know teen is for low teen because M is for 17. So teen would be for 13 to 16? Why would we even have a
It's
10
14. It's
plus?
15 plus. No, it doesn't even say.
I assume teen is just the very first teen, because if it was 15 plus, why would we have M, which is just 2 years later? They need an overhaul. They also
It.
got rid of the C for children rating, because apparently 1 year olds are good enough to throw in that E category for everyone.
Yep. Everybody. Okay, so here's ones we done for shits and giggles.
Why are there two rating pendings? I can't see. There's something underneath one of them.
Rating Pangea likely 17 plus.
Oh, okay. So basically rated M, but we didn't say it yet.
We haven't. It hasn't been set yet, but this one's like it's probably gonna be 17
E
plus.
or T. Yeah, for the other one.
The thing that it's like 13 to 16. Okay.
Yeah, because it can't be 12 because that's not a teen, and it can't be 17 or higher because that's already a different rating.
Oh, well,
So the
you're
only possible age group, 13 to 16.
okay. So I have a game here. This is
We need to
a
take this
European.
crusade to the ESRB and fix things.
This is a
That's how
European import.
that's how we get famous.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember who pays the ESRB? This is a
Yeah.
European import, and it's got
Ooh.
violence, fear, and in-game purchases. Now, Peggy works a little different.
Uh-huh.
I believe it's like 716 and something else.
Yeah, because I remember Peggy 16,
Yeah, 16. Yeah, Peggy 16, Peggy 18.
which is
Okay.
silly because it's like you have to wait 1 year
Hmm.
to play this one.
Okay. So, fear.
Like FEAR, the game.
Yep.
Oh,
But
okay.
not the game, but it's just this category here. It's fear. Violence, fear, and in-game purchases. It's
Wait,
Klonoa.
fear is a category?
It's a spider. It says fear.
I thought you were trying to say like what is the game fear rated? Oh my,
No.
what is fear? Dude, if I'm scared of a game, that could just be because I'm dumb. Like I could be scared of Elmo if I have a fear of puppets. Is that rated F for fear?
Hold on. I got another one here. Language, mild blood, partial nudity, and violence. Tier
That's a
M.
crazy Muppet game. Wait, is it still Peggy or is it ESRB now?
ESRB.
Okay.
Tier
Um,
M.
I'm gonna guess T because M makes more sense, so I doubt they did
It is T. It's Final Fantasy
it.
15 Royal Edition.
See, that's harder. When you say the specific ratings and you're like, what kind of game could that be? I had no idea you were talking about Sonic earlier because it sounded way more fucked up.
That's what I mean. I've got one more Peggy one here, but
Oh
it only has
boy.
violence and bad language on the back
So is it
and in-game purchases.
16? I
No,
assume 16 then at least. Oh no, maybe because of in-game purchases it's 18?
but Klonoa has in-game purchases too, and it's 7.
But they're
It's
cute
18.
purchases.
I only have a couple European imports. Actually, wait, I have a
Yeah.
couple more. Hold on. I just
Oh
realized.
boy.
It's sealed though.
Although
Sealed.
Village makes sense to be
Oh,
18,
Peggy
but
12. What's Peggy
the way they
12 need you to
describe it.
get? Wait, what? Wait, what?
What is it worse than the 16
Hold,
one?
hold, 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 hold on. 12. Violence, sex, bad language.
What did the rated 18 one have? Because it sounds worse than that.
Sex?
I think they meant sexy, but they left the letter off. It was a
It's called
goof.
sex. Sex appeal. Eat it.
Rated
See,
B for
older games are
Cam.
kind of a suggestive themes violent.
That was a really common one back then. They didn't specify. They're like, suggestive themes.
What about you?
You may get a hard
This is
on
a
from these.
very
Who knows?
fascinating thing. Blood and gore, drug reference, intense violence, strong language, strong sexual content. But you also like fall asleep on the sofa with your girlfriend in your arms. Shouldn't that be
It's
censored too?
edgy, but it's got a cute moment, so it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, this just makes me more confused at the ESRB's ratings for stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
And I
see
get that it's
here.
different in every country, so it's also like, how do we appease certain regulators and groups, but still sell the same game everywhere? But I think what you need to
Also
do
partial
is take a
nudity?
step back and say, are these ratings even accurate or correct? Because if not, there's no reason to be following them.
Okay, let's let's pick one that we both know, both very familiar with. Okay, I've picked a
Okay,
game that I am sure you have heard of and probably have played. Blood,
interesting.
partial nudity, strong language, violence, slang?
Yo, there's shit talking in here, bro.
Slang? Why
I
would you
also
put
double checked. Armored Core is only T, and I assume it's because it's robots and not people.
can you show me like a show? Okay. No, like substances. Show me everything. View all. There we go. Here we go. Here's all the things it can be.
Okay, because I'm
Before
about
I
to tell you
reveal.
something afterwards.
Alcohol reference, blood, animated blood, blood
And this
and
is the E
gore.
for everyone?
No, this is just everything. This is all content
Oh,
that could
okay.
be. This is on the website
Gotcha.
right now. I'm looking.
I thought you were
Crude
saying this is what
humor,
E is allowed to be, and I was like, blood and gore
drug
forever?
violence, fantasy violence, gambling themes, intense violence, language, lyrics,
I was about to say
mature
Madden
humor,
has mild lyrics, so it's E10.
regular nudity, partial nudity, real gambling, sexual content, sexual themes, sexual violence,
What the hell does that bottom right one say? Is that
simulated
simulated?
gambling.
What the fuck is different between simulated
Hold
and
on, we
normal
could keep
gambling?
going here. Sexual content, sexual themes, sexual violence, simulated gambling, strong language, strong lyrics, strong sexual content, suggestive themes, tobacco references, use of alcohol, use of drugs, use of tobacco, violence, violent references. Where's slang?
Also, what is violent references? Yeah, you guys remember in social studies when they talked about a war once? It's a reference to violence. He's almost talking about the Crusades.
I'm saying. Oh, maybe it's French. I think it's sang.
Also, I got one for you here. Blood, suggestive themes, use of drugs, strong language, normal violence.
Oh, just normal violence, no cartoon.
Yeah, just normal. Not fantasy, not strong. You
Oh,
know, this
it's
violence
gotta be a
skipped like
teen. It's gotta be a teen.
you'd think. This is Starfield and it's rated M. There's no sexual anything, suggestive themes, but not even like partial nudity, nothing.
I mean,
Use of drugs, blood, and violence. Not even blood and
do I
gore.
have anything with sexual violence on it? Like, I don't think I've ever seen. Has anyone seen a game with sexual violence?
What does sexual violence even mean?
Is it
Like your
like
dick has
rape?
a sword on it?
No, is it
No,
like
I feel
rape?
like rape
I'm
wouldn't
actually
be categorized
curious.
as sexual violence. I feel like,
Language, blood, use of alcohol. Yeah.
wait, what happens? Is there a little arrow next to them that you can click? I can't tell from here. There's something.
Sexual, sexual themes, sexual contents, sexual
Yeah,
violence,
try try clicking on it.
depictions of rape or other violent sexual acts.
Okay, so it's specifically. I don't think I've ever seen that. Probably because I don't see rape often for obvious reasons.
Nope.
Hmm. Oh wait, then what would this be rated? What? NBA 2K24 is
Mm-hmm.
rated E because users can interact and in-game purchases include random items. For starters, it's E, so you don't have to say why. It's already for everyone. But none of those make
I
sense.
gotta be honest, I think Peggy makes less sense.
I
Because
don't think either of them make sense.
I got Deus Ex here,
Hmm.
and it's 18, and it's got bad language and violence, and that's it. There's a little bit more going on in this game.
Yeah, not only that, why would that make it 18?
Yeah,
What makes something
uh,
16 then? Let's see what Mortal Kombat is. Oh, I found an RP, but it's the RPLM. Rating pending, likely mature. Yet Mortal Kombat.
I am so fascinated by this. Show me. No, I want us to
I
see.
know. I don't know why, but
Show
I am
me.
too. Like I'm just exploring now.
Show me
Oh,
all. Here we go. So it's Peggy 3.
7, 12, 16, and 18. Yeah.
Uh, I know what games. I have a very good idea what games they are. But wait, it can't be that
I'm
one. And
what? Oh, you're
we just
grabbing
found out
something.
that one was something. No, no. Just I looked at one of them.
Oh, okay. Since I'm a bit behind with Twitch, I heard you, but then I saw you turn a few seconds later. I'm like, oh, he must be grabbing something. I'm gonna guess one of them is
That's gonna really
probably.
help Justin figure this one out. I
Well, I'm
have
gonna
the Nentrum.
assume. Yeah, I'm sure one of them is Neptunia related, but there's
No,
so many.
no. Don't don't. She doesn't play Net.
Oh,
She doesn't have Net.
hmm.
Just trust me on this.
Let's see if it's. You said it's specifically PlayStation, right?
She has two PS games, and I've got an Android.
Mm-hmm.
So that
And they're
means I know what
rated
one is.
Blood, Corn, I guess my question is, are these really old or are they recent? Because there's a lot of PlayStation games that are rated M.
Can you see the character in the frame right now?
I can't. They're all too
No, no.
small
I'm
on
just.
my.
Oh, I know she can see it.
Oh, you gotta specify.
Like 15. Oh, there you go.
2015. So they're not crazy recent. Um, would the Attiller games be rated M or are those T? Uh, are they exclusive or are they just you have the PlayStation versions?
Gonna select that one right back there. Yeah, yeah. I do one of them.
What is that,
I do
Bloodborne?
one. Yes, one of them was Bloodborne.
Oh,
And
well, I have
that's
that.
why I was like,
I
because
have
I
that
could see
game
the
too.
hunter. He's right. There's the hunter Figma right here in the frame. But
Why is
the
my
other
oh? Because my
one.
screen was frozen. That's why I wasn't able to tell that you were doing that, and then it just caught up, and I was like, oh, he's been standing there, and I look dumb now.
No, you. I figured you were like looking for something.
Yeah.
PS4 games do have it being
So
curated.
I guess what I'm trying to think is, are they anime? Are they
Yeah,
realistic?
it looks like that dude. Oh, it's an Ubisoft game. Hold
Oh,
on.
so it's Watch Dogs.
Nah. Watch Dogs?
I mean, if it looks like that guy and it's a Ubisoft game, what else would it be if it wasn't Hayden Pierce? Hmm.
Maybe it's not. Maybe that was. Maybe it's just. Remember, there's a bit of a
Oh,
delay.
oh, that's true.
It's Assassin's Creed. Oh, the
Genius who named that
Viking
word.
one. Valhalla. Right. Still looking for
I
Silver
genuinely
Wow.
forgot Valhalla exists. They all blend together now.
Wait,
Valhalla and
what?
Bloodborne. What?
Excuse me, what? How does this not have suggestive themes on it?
Well, the fact that there's a boy and a girl, it suggests since they have a daughter that they banged. Hate to do it, but that's how it works.
Um, like just
You
animated
see,
blood, comic mischief, fantasy violence, language.
no, it's because that the book is Spanish. and Spanish people tend to be sexy, so illegal.
Sexual themes are not here.
hmm The George Lopez book is too sexual.
Yeah, I love him. Blood,
He is great.
language, alcohol,
So wait,
tobacco.
I've got one for you here. Blood, drug reference, strong language, intense violence.
Gotta be mature because it's got intense violence.
Yeah, it's payday free. It's gonna be intensely violent, not just normal violence.
I'm actually seriously looking for something with sexual violence in it because I want to know.
I've just been looking at the games coming soon because I'm curious what they're trying to describe with some of these ratings.
Yeah, like
Like,
I
ooh,
rarely look at them to be honest.
yeah, the new
Oh, that's
SAO
dead.
has fantasy violence and suggestive themes and mild language.
Wait, there's.
Wait,
Hold the
Forza
phone. Hold the
Motorsport.
phone. Hold the 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 phone.
Where's the
Wait,
phone? I loved
partial
Bloodborne,
nudity?
but it wasn't the hype that everyone gives
Wait.
it.
I'm trying to figure out what partial nudity is.
In what?
Hey,
Wait,
just
is
in
that
general, what does
Metro?
it stand for? Because, like, what? So Metro's got blood, gore, Exodus,
Mhm.
intense violence, partial nudity, sexual themes, strong language, use of drugs. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Oh,
She gets topless and like naked. There's definitely scenes where you see her, where you see Anna.
you see your
You
shoulders.
see her
It's
naked
not
and stuff.
haram.
If it's not the second game where she's just like where you can like go in and there's a whole like strip scene.
Oh, here's an interesting one. You know
Violence.
how Persona 5 was mature?
Yeah.
Persona 5 Tactica is only T. It still has use of alcohol, blood, still got suggested themes and partial nudity, violence, and language. But I guess because they're chibi, it's okay. So it's only rated T. It's got the exact same characters and the exact same things that made it rated M. Although I don't want to know what partial nudity of these chibis look like.
It's gonna be a shirtless Ryuji.
No,
Or just him in
he's
his
too
boxer short.
hot.
No, he's hot.
Oh no, he's hot.
It's also funny to me how there's no consistency between these tags and the
Oh,
way the
none at
French
all.
and the English is done.
Yeah.
So, on Metro here, it's like blood gore, and then it's got the French right next to it, and it's slash, and all of them all the way down it like that. But
Mhm.
Evil West here, it's got blood gore, and then it's French underneath, and then the next one. Okay, and then the next one I've got uh
The best thing is not only is that not consistent, the ratings themselves aren't. You can look at two games with two different ratings that have the exact same things beneath them. It doesn't make any sense.
Sekiro's got blood gore and violence and is mature rated.
And it's what rated?
Mature,
hmm
but like it's just it. I think this might be a U.S. version because it doesn't have the French.
Mm.
And it's the Ethelus.
Wild
Yeah.
Card Football contains mild fantasy violence. Do you mean because it's football?
Wait, hold on.
That's how sports
Blood,
work.
violence, suggestive theme, strong language. I don't know. This has been
He just hold
fascinating.
up Kirby.
Kirby, no, it's a the song of yeah.
Yeah.
It's
See, here's a
so
weird one.
weird.
Lies of P, rated M, for blood and violence. That's it. Not strong violence, not blood and gore. This is the exact same thing that most games are rated T for.
Blood,
So, like,
violence, suggestive theme, strong language, use of alcohol. M. I don't understand here. What's
there's so little consistency.
hold on? I've got two teen rated games here. Let's see. Fantasy violence, language, mild suggestive themes. Excuse me. Excuse me. Fantasy violence?
I'm sorry, the crew is rated T because of lyrics and mild violence?
Oh,
What?
the crew's rated teen because of the story mode that no one cares about.
No, no, that's the first one.
Oh,
This
the
this
new
is
one?
yeah, the new one, which as far as
That
I
means
know
there's
didn't
explicit
have much of a
lyrics.
story.
Blood,
Weird.
language, sexual themes, use of alcohol, and violence.
Yeah, this
TRM.
shouldn't even have a story. This is their
TRM.
horizon. What's
TRM.
TRM? What was the things?
Blood, language, sexual themes, use of alcohol, violence. TRM.
I'm pretty sure that one's T.
It is T.
Yeah, I actually looked at that game earlier. I didn't see the rating, but I was scrolling past my games. I was like, man, I gotta finish this.
I don't think I've started that one yet,
Here's a
to be
weird one
honest.
though. Fantasy violence, mild language. What do you think this is rated?
Fantasy violence and mild language?
Yeah.
That's gotta be like an E10.
Yeah, E10 plus.
Yeah.
But Lies of P with just normal blood and just normal violence is rated M.
Falconeer's rated T and it's got fantasy violence and blood.
This one's rated T and it just has language. Meanwhile, this one has violence and alcohol references and it's rated E10. I don't get it.
Older games. See if they were still inconsistent back then.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
looking at
Max
two coming
Payne
soon games.
just has blood and violence and is rated M.
Yeah, that's the same with Lies of P. Blood and violence. That's it. I've
Uh,
got an interesting one for you. Under the Waves, that new Quantic Dream game coming in a few days. Um,
mhm.
it's got mild violence and strong language. What do you think it's rated?
Mild violence and strong language. Like
Yeah,
if that was a movie, that would be
PG-13,
yeah,
easy.
13. PG-13. But it's a game.
Hmm.
Is it mature?
Yes, it is rated M for that. For mild violence.
Can we look? Okay, hold on. Let's pick one of the weird outliers and see if we can just look it up and see if there's like a reasoning or something. Uh,
Yeah,
let's
because
let's pick
it's silly.
Valkyrie Revolution here. Actually, let's see what the Peggy is for it first. This is so fascinating.
It really is. Like I'm literally just looking at the ratings on these games.
16, Peggy 16. More info, just violence.
This one confuses me even more. This has got use of alcohol, blood and gore, violence, and language. It's only T. It has way more things against it than the rated M I just passed. And this one's only rated T for teen. I don't get it. There's a new racing game coming out for kids that's got turtles and rabbits. It's rated E for everyone, but it has violent references. What does that mean? This is a children's game. What is a violent reference? And why
Oh,
is it still rated E?
oh, your rating summary. Check this out. This is an action role playing game in which players
Mm-hmm.
control soldiers involved in the conflict between two fictional kingdoms. Characters engage in combat and use swords, guns, grenades, and magic attacks to defeat soldiers and boss characters. Some attacks result in small splashes of blood, and cutscenes occasionally depict larger splashes of blood, as when a character is impaled on a sword or slashed. Battles are highlighted by realistic gunfire, cries of pain, and explosions. The game includes sexual material and the dialogue of "She was a real nympho." That was
That's
one
my
hell of a
favorite when
slut.
they're like,
What?
here's the reason for the language, and it's always something goofy.
Okay. I want to know if it was that bad in the Japanese, but okay. Where was one with
See now,
partial nudity that we thought was? I want it. Let's Persona 5.
yeah, we gotta check Persona 5.
I need
The
to know
description is
now.
just it's Japanese.
I spell it wrong? I did. I have a bad habit of this.
You did. You said Persona,
No, I
like
have a bad habit
Persona
of
High
typing.
School. No, no worries.
I picked the newer version too, so everyone knows. It's a it's a role playing game which players assume high school student who enters an alternate reality with special power to change the hearts of people in the real world. As players explore the themes of the metaverse, they're engaged in turn-based combat and face against fantastical creatures, demons, evil spirits, shadow creatures. Characters use blades, pipes, firearms, and personas, creatures that know magic to defeat enemies. Battles are highlighted by light effects, impact sounds, cries of pain, and some cutscenes depict characters ripping masks off their face as blood sprays. One cutscene depicts a man shooting another character in the head at close range, and blood showing and pooling on the floor, and the splattering of the victim's clothes. Several female monsters in Persona are depicted to have exposed breasts, and a handful of characters
That's what I was gonna say
have.
earlier. Like,
Okay, there we go. We found
is
it,
the
guys. We
succubus
found it.
technically?
It was succubus and the chariot. The chariot.
Damn, Alan Wake over here with intense violence, blood and gore, full nudity, use of drugs, and strong language.
I mean, it's Remedy. They want to make films. They basically do
Yeah,
make films in games.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, do you mind
So,
checking Starfield? Because I'm
oh,
curious why it has the M, because it really has just T-rated complaints. So I'm
okay.
just genuinely curious.
Starfield. Uh, this is a open world role playing game in which players assume the role of a minor tasked with finding artifacts across the galaxy. From first/third person perspectives, players interact with various creatures and complete quests and search for supplies while battling enemies, i.e., robots, humans, alien creatures. Uh, Players use futuristic weapons, lasers, axes, and explosives to kill enemies. Combat is fast paced and frequent gunfire, cries of pains, and explosions. They really like this cries of pain thing.
It's really funny because it's like it's okay if you get shot and you have no reaction, but once you go ow, it's like, oh, that's not cool.
Oh man, that's not
No,
cool anymore.
the
Attacks
kids will
on
know.
some enemies result in blood spatter effects. Several environments depict blood stains, corpses on the ground. The game contains suggestive material and dialogue. After sharing a bed with a character, life is like a sexually transmitted disease is 100% fatal. What? Hold on.
What?
Life is a sexually transmitted disease that is 100% fatal.
I mean,
I'm.
technically,
Hold on,
no
hold on.
lives detected,
Hold on,
but
there's more. I'm all for getting a little wild, but next time let's try it without the jetpacks. Hold on. What? Talk
wait,
about
this
seeing
game didn't say
stars. That
this
was
game has
amazing.
zero nudity though. So, do you
I'm
just like
sorry.
hit the
I want to know, but I need to know about this jetpack sex.
Yeah, do you just hit the sleep button and then it goes black and then when it comes back it's like let's not fuck with the
And
jetpack. That's
Brian
fine.
shows up as we're talking about jetpack sex.
Brian knows what he
I
wants.
love you, Brian.
He's here
You're the best.
specifically for the jetpack sex.
Hold on. I just
Well, that's
couldn't.
what we have to brag about now. Not the fact that we're getting the game, but the fact that
But we get
PlayStation and
jetpack
Nintendo don't
sex.
get jetpack sex.
This is crazy. I absolutely love this. Is so funny.
It's so unhinged too, because you can tell it's written by someone who has no idea what video games are, which is insane, because that's what your job apparently is.
Okay, a fictional drug Aurora is prominent in the game, with sections involving players working in an illicit drug lab. Players can also obtain Aurora by stealing it or buying it from vendors. Consuming Aurora results in distortion effects on screen. The words fuck and bullshit appear in the game.
No.
So, funny after sex one liners get you suggestive themes.
Not just that,
I
but there's
figured like
no
the drug
nudity.
thing would get them put up there, but I don't
Yeah.
quite understand the
Well, there's some complaints that definitely don't make sense. There's not suggestive themes. If you say next time let's do it without jetpacks, it sounds funny. Kids are not going to have any idea you're talking about sex. Also, why would kids be playing this? But even if they did, what is the implication that you went to bed with someone? What if mommies and daddies just sleep in the same bed for the shared cost? Why buy two beds when you could buy one? I just
Ooh,
I
hold
don't
on.
understand some of this.
Hold on. I just saw an interesting one.
Hello, Brian. We are talking about why games are rated the way they are and trying to understand how the system works because none of it's consistent. And it's very funny.
Okay, hope you're ready. Violence,
Oh,
mild language, T or M.
well, it sounds like an E10 plus, and I'd assume it's rated T because it's a Disney property and they want it to be accessible to as many as possible. But I'm assuming it's going to be an M.
It's T. You were right, and then you double backed
Oh,
on it.
I double
You
back because I
dismember
was like,
people in this one. Like you cut off their arms.
that's why I thought it was M. I was like, it sounds like T, but technically you could do stuff that I could see them whining about. But apparently that's okay because it's Disney, so like that's fine. But Starfield bad because I talked about jetpack sex.
Fantasy violence, suggestive themes, and language.
I still don't understand what fantasy violence is compared to normal violence.
They didn't
Both of them
explain
are
it very
fantasy.
well at all.
Yeah, they're literally both a fan. And then what's cartoon violence compared to fantasy? What the like? If you're saying fantasies pretend, then what the fuck is cartoons? Also
Hold on,
pretend?
trying to get back there. Here we go.
And
Uh,
I know there's strong violence. Can you have strong fantasy violence?
fantasy violence.
Any
Fantasy violence
question?
is fiction. Is violence actions of fantasy of a fantasy nature involving human or non-human characters in situations easily distinguishable from real life.
Well, then wouldn't Starfield be fantasy violence because there's
Hold the
aliens
phone.
and shit?
Where's mild violence on here? I
Well, that's
fear
what I
you're
mean.
getting
They have like,
shot by a blaster.
yeah, they have 8 versions of violence, and 4 of them are the same, and 3 of them don't make sense.
Hey, you notice something here? Am I missing it? This is in alphabetical order, right? So I should be like, okay,
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, G, E, F, G, L,
Wait,
M.
at the top, does it have like a category for all the violences? Yeah, at the top.
Hello,
Is mild even in
ESRB.
here?
Can we stop making up? Sorry,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
mild
see
language. I
cartoon.
got mixed up.
Well, I still don't see cartoon.
Hey, look what also isn't here.
What the fuck?
The fuck, ESRB.
None of these are even real. You're
Nothing is
banning
real.
games. You're
Everything
banning
is a
games based
meme.
on made up beliefs. I
I
wonder if blood
mean,
has blood and gore or if it's just blood.
I agree with the mature rating on Dead Space here. Okay?
I do too.
100%. I
But
agree.
this is like math. You have to show your work.
But you know what's weird here is what's listed: intense violence, blood,
Yeah,
gore,
I could see it.
strong language.
I'd say there's more than that in
Yeah,
that
I
list.
know, right? Like you literally
And
stomp people.
not
What
just
is
stunt, there's
this?
also a whole psychological element to that. Like,
Yeah. Open a new tab. Here we go. Let's look up Dead
is there,
Space.
I know there's like, what's it called? Sexual violence. Is there like mental violence or like suicide warnings of stuff? Like, it just occurred to me that
Self
we
harm.
have,
Okay, here we
yeah,
go. Dead Space. Let's look. It's
like we have so many
sci-fi
trigger
action
warnings and stuff.
horror game in which a player assumes the role of engineer Isaac Clarke. Well, they put his name in at least.
Sweet
Uh,
name dropping, my boy.
I think this is the first time I've actually seen them name the protagonist
Hell
in
yeah.
these. Sent to investigate and repair a mysterious spaceship. That's a lie. They knew what the spaceship was.
Yeah, they were trying to save the
It's the
people on board,
Ishimura.
and
Did
in
they,
this
they
case,
forget how to spell it?
girlfriend wife. They
Yes.
don't. It's scary. It's Japanese.
From a third-person perspective, players explore a spacecraft to uncover the fate of its crew while battling mutated creatures and alien in frenetic combat. Players use plasma cutters, flamethrowers, and various abilities to shoot enemies, and sometimes resulting in dismemberment. Combat is highlighted by laser fire, cries of pain, blood splatter effects. Some sequences depict additional acts of intense violence. A woman slashing her own throat and slice an unconscious man's chest. A man shot in the head at
It'd be
close
okay if he was
range.
conscious, but he was
Excuse
unconscious.
me, I feel like there needs to be a little more than just strong language and intense violence here. What is
Eh,
intense violence? Please enlighten me,
I got
ESRB.
a good one for you too.
I need to know
Blood,
intense.
suggestive themes, violence, and language. This is WWE 2K23. It's rated T. Why is it not fantasy violence? Wrestling isn't real. Even real life wrestling isn't real. So why is the video game based on 10 fighting real violence? And why is it rated T then if it instead of rated M? None of it makes sense.
Intense violence is graphic or realistic looking depictions of physical conflict. May involve extreme and or realistic blood, gore, weapons, and depictions of human injury and death. There isn't one
I
for
appreciate
self-harm?
there is or isn't.
No, I'm just like, shouldn't there be one like depictions of self-harm?
See, that's what I would fuck. Or even
What's violence references?
references.
References to violent
What does that say? To violent
reference
acts?
violent acts. That's all it says. It's like, oh,
That's what violence is.
so if you mentioned World War,
That doesn't make
I'm
sense.
just
That's like,
checking something here.
oh my god.
Sexual themes, use of tobacco, intense violence, blood references, blood and gore. See, it's weird to me that this is T to M because it's a collection. I guess one of the games is rated T. If I had to guess
Yeah,
which one, it's probably Peace Walker. But I
maybe.
think the new collection is just M.
Yeah, and I assume they're updating and changing a bit, so they're probably just gonna make it all the same tone.
Well, the thing is, you're probably not gonna change stuff. It's probably gonna be the exact same. It's just you're gonna pick the highest one and just it's all collection. It's all on the same disc. Like you're not gonna play one of these games and not play the other one. The T to M only
What if my
makes.
mom told me I can only play the T-rated one?
Which one's T rated?
Mom doesn't know, so she spun it around and picked one at random. Is
Yes.
crude humor on their website?
It used to be. Yeah, there it is. Crude humor. Depictions of dialogue involving vulgar antics, including bathroom humor. Comic mischief.
Bathroom.
Depictions or dialogues involving slapstick or suggestive humor. What? Okay, we don't have mature themes, do we? There's sexual themes. There's a strong language, suggestive themes, evocative material. Okay.
You want to know something hilarious? I was scrolling the games to check for ratings, and Homefront: The Revolution's on sale for $1. The normal game is 20, or you can buy the one of all the DLC for 40, or you can buy the pre-order version for 60. This game has been out for years, but you can still buy the $60 pre-order version even though the base game is $20. When did this game release? 2016. It is almost a decade old. That's insane to me.
Sexual content can include partial nudity, possibly
What?
including partial nudity. Then why do you have a partial nudity if this one can include
Yeah,
partial
if
nudity?
it has that, you don't need to get specific.
Alcohol, self-explanatory. Depictions of blood, got it. Animated blood. discolored or unrealistic depictions of blood. Okay, so if you have the Chinese version of Spy Family,
Right.
moving on, they painted all the
Damn.
blood white.
Yeah, they tend to do that for a lot of the Chinese stuff, which just makes it look like everyone busted a fat nut instead of
Okay,
getting
depiction of
stabbed.
blood and gore depicts mutilation of body parts. Okay, I'm still on board here. I get it. Crude humor, I get. Comic fiction, I get.
Oh,
Wow, that sucks, man. I hate when games are too expensive.
same.
Honestly, this whole system needs an overhaul.
Oh god, yeah. Here's a question. Why is Borderlands, which is super cartoony because of its art style, given blood and gore, sexual themes, strong language, and intense violence? Why
Sexual
not even
themes make
intense cartoon?
sense.
Yeah, that. Well, no,
Insert
I'd say
tips.
suggestive themes.
Insert tip.
Yeah, but isn't that suggestive?
I
Like,
mean, I don't think it's
what's the difference with.
explicit.
Yeah, what's the difference between suggestive and sexual if it's not the act but just references? Like, wouldn't a suggestive reference be sexual in nature? That's what makes it suggestive. Like, if I jokingly did a jerking off, hand wave, would that not be suggestive, which is sexual in nature? I don't understand the difference.
You got the M rating just because you have a hot springs section. Partial nudity.
Damn, you hate to hear it.
Totally worth it. 100%
That's
worth.
why, that's why all anime's legal here for the beach episode. That's what gets them banned. But what are you gonna do?
I don't get it. Like, I'm just looking through some of these. It
Yeah,
doesn't make
no,
any sense.
genuinely, none of it makes sense. Yeah, I'm going through games too at the store. I'm just trying to understand.
It's the thing, like, when you read the actual thing, it makes sense, but it's like no
Sometimes.
depiction. Like, why doesn't depictions of self harm have one? I feel like that's a
Yeah, that's
little
what's crazy
more
to me.
like, okay, intense violence, whatever, blood. Like, if you have intense violence, blood, gore, sure. Depictions of self harm, I'm pretty sure. What's the rating board for films called again? I can never remember.
What
What's it called?
the
I know the film rating board. What's it called?
I forget what the rating board is called. I'm so used to the game one.
Yeah.
I know what all the ratings are, but I don't remember what the board's called. Man, I'm dumb. Sitting here trying to
It's
think, and I'm like,
we're not a film podcast. So.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I enjoy films, but I don't even.
MPAA? Oh, there's a
That doesn't
different one
sound
for
right.
Canada. I've never
Oh, let me Google what mine's called.
MPA film rating. I think this is the exact same.
The NPR movie picture ratings. Apparently, there's not a specific name for it here because we have a bunch of stuff.
Okay, here we go. G, suitable for all ages. PG, parental guidance is advised. Themes and content may not be suitable for children. 14A, suitable for people 14 years and older.
I've always been confused what the G was for the longest time because it's like PG-13, parental guidance unless you're 13. PG, parental guidance. G, guidance? What? General
I
audience makes
forgot
much
there
more
was an
sense.
18A and an R.
You forgot there was rated R?
No, I forgot that there was an 18A and an R.
Oh, I remember the NC-17, but no one does it anymore.
Exempt content materials subject to classification, such as documentary, nature, music, arts, and culture. Sports
I
and
appreciate.
educational are exempt.
I love this rated R. Contains some adult material. parents are urged to learn more about the film before taking their young children with them. Or don't take the young children to rated R movies. It's R because R means restricted.
Yeah, it seems to be basically the same here. 18A, 14A, PG, GPG. I don't remember
Yeah,
14A ever being a thing when I was a kid. Or 18A. Did they add them?
I'm sure they did. I
Because
only
I remember
remember the
seeing
ones
G,
we have.
PG, and R, basically.
Yeah, we've had G, PG, PG-13, R, and then
Oh yeah,
NC-17.
PG-13 was a thing, but I guess they made it 14 because we had to be different here. I forgot about PG-13.
Yeah, the NC-17 is my favorite version of rated R, only because it's the same thing, but they literally won't let you in unless you are 18 or above. R is just really shouldn't let your kids see it. It's basically the same as NC-17, but we can't legally stop you from taking kids in. But with NC-17, it's like, no,
I just
no kids
remember
allowed.
when Deadpool was in theaters
Yeah,
and people were trying to sneak their kids in.
yeah, they're like, but it's a superhero. They're not allowed to be rated R. And it's like, why?
Why
Where
not?
did you hear that?
Yeah,
Who told
what
you that?
universe do you live in? But there we go.
Superheroes are for kids, so it's okay.
So the ESRB wants to collect more data so they can make a better rating system?
Yes,
I don't
which, in case you
understand
guys
them.
forgot, was an hour and a half ago when we started this topic.
Jesus Christ. It's tangent, but man, is it weird.
Yeah, well, because it's fascinating, and we did cover a lot. We covered censorship. We covered why games are rated this way. What we would change, obviously. Chara and
I don't think I said
Xbox.
what I would change exactly, but I feel like comic violence and fantasy violence are basically the same thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
and cartoon violence. Because I've seen comic mischief, and I don't know what that means.
well,
Fantasy
comic mischief.
shenanigans?
I think Final Fantasy VII, the original version of it, had comic mischief, which makes no sense because you're literally a terrorist.
But that's what I mean. Like, but they're like, oh, but you guys look like silly Lego boys with that hair, so it's okay. It's comical that you're a terrorist. Ironically, I just saw a game that has comic mischief. It was Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. I was
That kind of
thinking to
makes sense.
myself, did they get rid of it? Like, I haven't seen that in so long. And then it's right here.
Blood, drug reference, fantasy violence, language, partial nudity, suggestive themes, use of alcohol. T or M.
T, because it should be M.
It's his T.
Oh my god, what is it?
Stella Glow. It's on the shelf. I just grabbed it because I saw it.
Oh god.
This is such a weird. It's like, what?
None of it's consistent at all. And I think that's what makes it the hardest to understand. It's the fact that none of it makes sense.
Yeah, like if I was a parent, like even as like an uncle,
Yeah, like if
picking
I
out
had
what
no
games would
idea.
be okay for my niece is weird. Like for me, it's just like yeah, whatever. I'm good with whatever content.
But
I've
that's
been
also because
through.
we've played games, so we understand.
I'm
But
hardened
these,
at this point,
yeah,
but yeah, you're 100% right that um we're literally we're hardened. We've been through this the entire time, but
shit, I watched Terminator when I was 6.
the first one or the second one?
I believe my dad showed both like a double feature.
Okay, because
They were both good.
the first one
Yeah,
is very different than the second.
yeah, the tone, especially even the opening song is like very badass in the first one. Then in the second one, it's like, like it's just you can tell the budget kind of went down. Great movies though. T2 scared the shit out of me for a bit. The Liquid Terminator.
Yeah, the T1000,
Yeah, what did
absolutely
I say?
insane.
T2. I'm
T2 is
mixing up my
the
T's.
T2
Yeah.
is the name of the movie, Terminator 2. That's how they
Yes.
always the posters were just T2 Judgment Day.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. I always mix up because I end up calling that Terminator T2 because it's the second Terminator to come
Not,
after them.
he's technically not the second Terminator.
How so? Are you talking about the movies later that become prequels? Or are you
No,
talking
because
about
he's the T-9000. And there's all sorts of different variants of
but
them,
that
but you don't
doesn't
see them till later.
yeah, well that's what I mean, like at the time. Because
Yeah,
there's no
it's
way
just,
you would know because I don't think they existed yet. There weren't any books or anything, right?
there might have been comics and stuff, but they didn't really go into it
Yeah.
back then.
And then the more recent stuff, of course, is like, well, this actually happened then. You just didn't see it. Or like remaking scenes from the old one. They're like, well, this in this timeline. They need to reboot the series a third or fourth time. Start fresh.
I don't know, just maybe not try to make it make sense. Just make movies with killer robots.
Well, that's true. If you're gonna lean into the idea that you're not making sense and go wild with it, then I agree. But if you're like just towing the line of trying to be both, that's when you gotta pick a side.
I mean, I basically haven't watched this Terminator movie after 2 because there's really no point because 2 was just
I've
so
seen one
good.
or two, but I don't remember much of them. Like I remember a scene from one or two of them, and I remember being disappointed by both of them. T2 was peak. I have
T2 is
not seen
definitely
anything
peak.
Terminator wise top that. Yeah.
Terminator 3 was like meh, and then everything else has had like a subtitle, and it's like, yeah, whatever, no one cares.
Your foster parents are dead. Oh, I got a good one for you, real quick.
Okay,
Fantasy violence, comic mischief, and alcohol references. What could this be rated?
that's got to be a solid. Um, I think it's a solid 10 plus.
Sorry, Chief, it's E for everyone. Everyone's allowed to have alcohol references, comic mischief, and fantasy
It's not a
violence.
10 plus.
No, it's literally for
Which
everyone.
game is this?
It's one of the Katamari games. We love Katamari, so I guess that makes sense because everything's so weird that you probably can't tell what's going on. But what?
I feel like
I've
that should
seen
at
some of the
least be 10
jokes.
plus.
Yeah, I've seen some of the jokes the king makes. Bro, he also his dong is out right in front of you and he stands over you every level, imposing on you with his like galaxy dick, and it's like once you
And
notice it, it's hard to ignore it every time. You're like,
the
bro, stop.
galaxy. Everyone in the galaxy should behold my dong.
The galactic peen.
Fantasy violence.
Galactic Peen is a great band name. Wait, I gotta check Peppa
Galactic
Pig.
being.
Oh, Peppa Pig doesn't even have anything. She's just E, but nothing explained.
Nothing explained because it's Peppa Pig. Figure it out yourself, doofus. There's
Damn
no
you,
violence in
Peppa.
this game.
Fucking
Animated
rare.
blood.
Compared to what?
Fantasy violence. Rated E10 plus.
What does animated blood mean?
I guess because
It's
it's
all
R type,
animated.
but like I don't remember shooting at people in R type. I don't I don't really get the difference between stuff. I feel like some of the
Yeah,
stuff made more sense before, but then they just kept
yeah,
adding on, and then they're like, oh, well, this one
exactly. It
fits
all
here.
starts to blend.
You see, okay, you want to look at the. I know you've been looking at the releases because you were looking at stuff.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the specials too.
Yeah. Massive pile of
So,
stuff.
Toe
Can't
Jam and
be
Earl is
this
only
one.
10 plus. Hey, what am I
Toe
hitting
Jam
you
and
with?
Earl?
Yeah, it shouldn't be, but it is.
Is there drug references in that?
I mean, if there is, technically it didn't say it. It did say comic mischief, but I don't know if comic mischief is referencing snorting crack off of like a hooker.
I don't
It
think
could be
that's not what Toe
technically.
Jam and Earl do, but like the
No,
game
I
is
know,
just
but I'm
like
just
we're
saying
alien.
like, yeah,
But they
I'm just
make
saying like
there's all sorts of
comic
references.
references. Go on.
Have you played a Toe Jam and Earl game ever?
Oh, it's been a while, yeah, but I remember like walking down. I think it was on a SNES in that weird dimension, like walking down while you're wiggling back and forth.
Yeah, you just walk around and try and find the pieces of your spaceship and whatnot.
Yeah, and I remember dying from random stuff touching me that I didn't know was violent. Like I didn't know it was an enemy.
Yep.
I just assumed he was chill. And spoilers, he was not chill.
He was not chill. It happens.
He
Happens to
did
the best
not.
of us, bro.
Uh, he did not pass the vibe check, as the
Bad
youth
vibe.
would say.
Bad biscuits make the baker broke, bro.
Oh, Final Fantasy XVI's Clive voice actor wants to play Legacy of Kain's Raziel above all else. Unfortunately for
Really?
him, they're never going to make that game.
Nah, they'll make it. It'll happen.
Just like Legends of Mana will come.
If Embracer wants to make it, Embracer's got the rights to it now.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
Oh, well then they'll do it.
But they didn't.
I
But
thought it
they
was.
didn't keep Gex.
Yeah,
They
that's still
kept
weird to
Gex.
me.
Here, have Legacy of Kain. We'll keep Gex.
But only if we could keep Gex. You drive a hard bargain.
We
All
drive a
right,
hard
fine.
bargain, but yeah, fuck you. Basically, keep it. Whatever. See if I care. I don't even know. Okay. Anyway, releases this Xbox One.
Before that, I have one game to check. I want to see what Tears of the Kingdom is rated.
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah, because
That's a
I'm
good
pretty
one.
sure
Hold on.
it's technically E10 plus, I think. But like,
What?
technically, all the things you do in it, it should be rated higher. But it's Nintendo, so also like they might be able to get away with it. I don't know. I gotta find my case.
Excuse me? Well, I don't have Tears of the Kingdom, but I do have Breath of the Wild.
What was that one rated?
E10 plus. Fantasy violence, mild suggestive themes, use of alcohol.
I feel like we've seen games get T for that.
Hold
Many
on.
games.
Is
None of it makes sense.
there even a single mature rated?
Technically, Bayonetta.
Excuse me, everybody. Excuse me. What?
You.
Teen rated?
Is that Sonic Forces?
No, that's Fate Stella, the Umbral
Okay.
Star.
I couldn't tell from here. I just saw the color on the front and I was like, oh god.
Be able to see better now.
Bayonetta? But is that first party?
Bayonetta's got to be mature.
Yeah, but is it technically first party or
SMT3?
is it second party?
SMT3, right? Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem should be rated
Fire
M,
Emblem
but it's
Warriors
not.
is T?
Mm-hmm. They all are, even though they shouldn't be. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I got a good thing. For Tears of the Kingdom, players use swords, hammers, bows, and explosives to attack enemies that generally disappear amid smoke puffs and or collectible items. Stylized battles are sometimes frenetic, accompanied by impacting sounds, cries of pain, and brief explosions. A handful of creatures, in example, great fairies, wear revealing outfits with moderate cleavage and or exaggerated sized breasts. Characters are sometimes depicted wearing boxer briefs. E10 plus. Like I don't care if it's E10 or teen, but make it make sense. None of the things you described should be E10 plus. You literally said they have big titties and someone walks around in their boxers. Read it E
What's
for
Catherine
everyone.
rated?
Ooh, I want
Well,
to
you
see
sleep with people.
why. Yeah. Quaffrin.
We're gonna put full body because it's newer. Oh,
Yeah.
it's Switch version too.
I was gonna say, should we specify the Switch version? Let's
Blood,
see.
partial
Rated
nudity,
M. Yeah.
sexual themes,
Strong
strong
language.
language, and alcohol.
And
Use of alcohol
violence.
and violence. Sorry. This is
I
a
just
puzzle.
scrolled to the last one. The words fucking shit can be heard. Go on.
This is a puzzle adventure game where players assume the role of Vincent, a man with a relationship issue that manifests in his dreams. The game transitions between animated cutscenes and puzzle stages, i.e., nightmares. In the nightmare world, players must help Vincent ascend a crumbling tower while pushing and pulling pulling and climbing blocks to reach an exit. If the player makes a wrong move, they can be killed by spike traps, giant boss creatures. Example: a demon bride, chainsaw wielding baby.
Love to see it.
Death
Also,
scenes
they
are
didn't say you could
accompanied.
push sheep off.
Death
That's
scenes are
messed up.
accompanied by exaggerated splashes of blood as Vincent is stabbed, crushed, shot, or bitten. During one cutscene, a character is stabbed repeatedly. While the stabbing is off screen, there are large splashes of blood depicting each and every strike in order to move faster in the puzzle stages. Players can order Vincent alcoholic beverages, mixed cocktails, beers, sake, whiskey. After 3 drinks, he will begin to stumble around while moving. Throughout the game, sex and
You're gonna like this next
sexuality.
one.
Oh my god, are frequently. This is so hard to read the way it's set up.
Yeah.
Are frequently referenced and sometimes become when two characters are in bed together. I.e., finally became a man. Got rid of my V card. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Headshot. I'm done. I'm done. Man, this is so much. It just keeps going.
I know. I love what descriptive it is, though. It's like if the one you loved confessed to a sexual habit that you found absolutely unacceptable, what would you do? And it's like you're just gonna stop there,
And
and
after
that's
you've
messed up
done,
too.
after all you've done to my body night after night,
Yeah, and just cuts off.
bedroom
What do you do?
sequences pan across the man's leg, then curling toes,
I
then
guarantee no one under the age knows what that means. You don't have to worry about that.
yeah, it's fine. Okay.
There's a woman caressing her body while making suggestive comments. An example, I've got such a hunger for these feelings. I know you have some hungers as well, don't you? The game depicts the central character surrounded by topless female demons. Few shadow effects obscuring most of the details. Also, the words fucking shit can be heard in the dialogue. But I love that they bleep out their own words. There could be a concerned parent reading this. They say
Yep.
fucking shit. What
All
are they
right.
saying?
Let's look at the releases, sir.
Okay. What is
Moving
today?
on.
The 6th? The 7th? The 7th?
7th.
6th?
Tomorrow is the
7th.
Atelier announcement thing. It's probably gonna be tonight actually, because it's in Japan. So
True.
maybe we'll hear about new games.
That'll be pretty cool. So tomorrow we're getting Broforce Forever, which is also Game Pass day one.
Oh, Force
Definitely recommend.
Forever. Is it actually
Lots
in
of
the
fun.
store now?
No, because I didn't even see it till I checked the website. So as I was checking the coming soons, I didn't even notice it, which is why I
Nope,
was
it is
surprised and
not
happy to
here.
see it.
Yeah, Broforce
Love to
Forever
see it.
is quite the game. Play with your
Yeah,
buds.
yeah,
Destroy
it's a lot of fun alone
everything.
too, but definitely play with buds. Uh,
Liberate stages the American way,
yeah,
like going
save
in,
us from Satan.
stealing all your stuff, and blowing up everything.
America. We also have Gourd releasing tomorrow, which is the game that we could not, for the life of us, for the longest time, find footage or pictures of. But now there's some crude pictures. Um, yeah, I think that one got a lower rating than it would have because of its art style. So we have WrestleQuest on the same
Don't
day
think
on
you
the
can
8th.
hide that from me, game.
Hi, what?
Domabor. Moving on. WrestleQuest, you said?
Yeah, WrestleQuest. Sorry, I didn't see that you were looking at it because uh, I swapped screens. Let me put these in
Oh, it's actually in the store
sidebars.
now, not the demo. Hello? Hold on, it's taking a second to load.
Rated W for wrestling.
W E for everyone. Gotta wrestle. Yeah, we looked at this
I
one.
am, yeah, I'm surprised it's E10 and not teen.
We're never gonna understand the ratings, so just move past it.
Yeah, mostly because the other wrestling game I saw was M, even though it should have been teen. So both games that should have been teen were either way past it or way before it.
Well, maybe
Sure
because
thing.
it's pixel art. Because that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but
Pixel art before, when it was like the norm, like
mhm,
Splatterhouse,
yeah,
M. Now, I bet you'd be rated teen.
that's what I mean. Like, if the art style is determining what you think is happening, then don't give us crap about, well, the intent says this. You don't care about intent. The intent between these two games is the same, but because this one doesn't look as realistic, you don't care. It's
Yeah.
just, uh,
Moving on. What's the next one?
yeah. Fluffy Milo. And I don't think I saw this.
Oh,
No.
there it is.
Oh, searching, yeah.
I found it. It's a
Yeah.
cat.
It's just not in the coming soon part. Because of
It's a
course.
cat.
Yeah, all of them for some reason say
I'm
not really. That's
disappointed. It's a
why.
puzzle
Because
game.
it's a puzzle game and not a game about a cat.
It's a cat. It's a
Because
cube cat. I wanted
don't worry,
regular cat. I was
I
promised
have
regular
good
cat,
news.
and I got cube cat.
Yeah, well, a day later, Stray comes out, so you can play with that ugly cat.
The cat's not ugly.
I mean, he's got like sad eyes, but he looks like Uncanny Valley, in my opinion.
The problem with Stray is that it's too much about the robot backpack and not enough about the cat.
Yeah, like if there was less, and I know this sounds silly because I'm usually against this, but if there was less story and more just wandering around as a cat, I feel like it would have been more interesting. But it kind of feels like an on rails
I feel like if
game
you
where
were
you
kind of
just,
like trying to, you could have different ways of making the character want to do stuff
yeah.
than being like, we can have the story and make you play cat. Next.
Yeah, Stray's probably not going to do as well as they hope because it's not on Game Pass. So all the people
I
that were
don't think
super hyped,
I don't think it's gonna do bad, but it doesn't
oh
have a
no,
physical for one.
yeah, and it's a year late. So I'm just saying I don't think it'll do as well as they're hoping it will. Because I feel like they're putting it on here and they're like, oh, it'll sell just like the PlayStation and PC did at launch. It's like, no, when you port a game a year later, it's never going to do as good.
It
It's
might do
unfortunate.
better or the same. It depends.
Yeah. I think also because it doesn't have that magic behind it of everyone kissing its ass for game of the year, it's just going to lose its momentum. But I could be wrong, for sure.
Well, it's suddenly trash because
Uh,
it's on Xbox now. But next game.
yeah. Yeah, it's garbage now. It was only good last year. Um, Legend Bowl, which I also don't see. And when I say don't see, I'm not searching. I'm just checking the coming soon for now.
You spelled it wrong?
Although
Sorry, you spelled
there's
it wrong.
some stuff in here that I see on here, but
I'm
not
assuming
on
it's
this.
it's full as in. Oh, I think I found it.
Oh,
I found it. It's a
oh.
sports game.
I assume so because of the bowl, but what is it? Is it a
Uh,
simulation? Is it the game itself?
that's a good question. Legend Ball brings you back to the glory days of pixel-style football games of the past. Enjoy a hybrid of
Football.
arcade style and football simulation aspects on and off the field. Fully customizable players and teams to create an endless amount of variety in your league. Okay.
How much was it?
Not sold separately.
Oh, that's expensive.
I don't know. Top Hat Studios,
Oh
developed
man.
by
Well,
Super Pixel Games.
I have to
It's got,
hope that Top Hat Studios has literally only top hats on every person.
yeah. It's otherwise they're
Next up is a game that isn't the coming soon. Uh, this is the one I was talking about. Running Fable.
I'm trying to get the
Ooh.
search to work, but the search just decided not to work. My cursor
No
is being
worries.
done. Hello?
Apologies, I couldn't tell. I'm like 4 seconds behind, so I didn't see. And suddenly I saw it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, the search button was not right. Sorry, running Fable?
yes, running Fable.
Found it. Loading.
Do 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 do.
Oh, this one! It's the running game. It looks kind of cute.
Look at its ratings, though.
Violent references. User interact.
Yeah, it's E for everyone with violent references. Not even E10 plus. I also don't know what violent references means in this
I
case.
think I got the PC version here, but no.
Little
Nope,
guys
I did
running.
not. It's playable on. Okay.
But is it
Interesting.
Xbox Play Anywhere? Can I play this on the way to my trip tomorrow?
No. Okay.
Um, then the last game on the ninth is Scabma Snowfall.
Skevma?
Scabma. Skabma. I also don't
Oh,
see it
found
here,
it.
which is
Thank
which is why I have
goodness.
no idea what it is.
Uh, I think that. Why do I feel like we looked at this before? I feel like we've looked at this maybe at one point.
Uh, can't tell yet.
Playing the drum with a bone, and then it paused for no reason.
Love it.
Sunsoft?
Right on PID.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Sunsoft?
What? Coming out of retirement.
Okay, maybe I'm
It's definitely
mistaken.
a game where you're hunting something with your vision.
Playing a drum
Oh,
or
Black
something, and it.
Shadows. Oh, ironically,
Did you just pick up a cat and put it in your pocket, sir?
yes. I was gonna say, ironically, I came here to make fun of this, but it actually doesn't look too bad.
Looks
The only thing I
interesting.
might
I don't
have,
know if it's something I'd
yeah,
want to play, but it looks interesting.
yeah. On my rating scale, I'd rate
Rolling
this. I'd
at
play
the
it.
speed
Not
of
like I'd buy
sound.
it, but but if I had access to it, I'd probably play it. I appreciate the platforming too. It doesn't look terribly janky, which unfortunately some of these games do.
Summon a bear.
Oh, she's a druid, or he's a druid. I can't tell the gender. I have not seen it up close.
Well, do those kickflips and tricks.
Oh wait, are you gonna shield surf? Also, is that a drum or is the pot lit?
I think it's a drum.
Huh.
Honestly, super interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should want to play it, but it had the Sunsoft logo, and I was very confused for a second.
Yeah. I mean, I'd play it.
Interesting.
Play but not buy personally for that.
Okay. Does that was the last one on the ninth?
Yes. Now we have a few on the 10th.
Okay.
Although I know we've checked a few of these. Like Atlas Fallen, I know we've checked. You want to check it or should we skip it?
No, I'll check stuff quick. What
Okay.
was I looking at?
Oh, Atlas Fallen.
Ah,
I believe this one's only T2, or maybe I'm thinking of the Avions one. I keep mixing these two up because they're both similar looking and coming out around the same time.
it's spelled Atlas with a U.
No. ATLAS Fallen.
Atlas phone, yeah.
Yeah. I think Atlas the company is the only one that spells it with a U these days.
I
Oh,
mean,
this one
it
is
looks
T2.
like an interesting game. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. what to expect with that game. Not in a good or bad way.
It
Just
looked like
dumb.
someone said it looked like Godfall but better,
Yeah, I think that's
or
what
Babylon's
Timmy
Fall
was
but better.
saying.
To be honest, I'm not super invested in these games, especially with the big price tag.
Yeah, the
But
big price tags keep me away for now, but who knows? Maybe if it's on sale or hits Game Pass, it would be something to try.
I don't know, maybe I'll try it later. But I'm also inundated with so many games to play, new and
Yeah,
old.
and that's exactly why I say I wouldn't buy it, but I'd play it. It's kind of like if I had access, I might throw it on the back burner or even try it, but the only games I'm buying these days are specifically like really needs or really wants because I'm trying to make some of that backlog better.
Yeah,
Until I
it
have,
gets rough.
yeah, until I have it under 500, I'm trying to limit myself on some buys.
No, I gotta get up to over 500. Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, this film
Oh,
was
trust me,
cool,
it's
but
much higher than that.
it's coming out at a bad time, in my opinion.
Yeah, but so is the other one that's just like it, Lords of Avalon or Avion or
Is
whatever.
that the next one?
No, I think that one's coming out near the end of the month, but
Doing
that's
that
the end
thing
of
again. Can't search.
the Or is that the one that got pushed back? Let me double check. Uh, or did I pass?
It's all good. What's the next game? Oh, we can just keep
The
going. If it shows
next?
up, it shows up.
Sure. Oh, I found it right before I could say it. It is the 22nd. So yeah, it's right around the same time. Um,
Yeah.
Oops, I scroll to September. Back here, we have Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, and I
Yeah,
do
we saw that
remember we
one
looked.
last week, and it
Yeah,
looks
we looked at this
sick.
because we were like, "What?"
It's
Um,
Dragon.
yeah, the
Uh,
Dragoness,
no,
Command of the Flame.
no, it's written by the
Oh
uh
yeah, I just meant the next game. My bad.
Dragon Age writer.
Yes, that came out of nowhere too.
Yeah,
Like I was not expecting that left hook.
yeah. That's who's writing the Stray Gods. Check it out. It looks cool. Musical.
Not just a
Yeah,
musical, a role-playing musical. You get to pretend to be someone who's in a musical.
sounds
Next
interesting.
is the Dragoness, Command of the Flame, and this one I believe is in the coming soon. Let's see. Yeah, there's two versions for some reason, and one of them's $2 cheaper. Looks like it might be a tactical game.
Okay. I don't
Oh, it's
agree with
developed.
you, Brian. I
I
don't.
think they're both good, but they both satisfy different cravings.
Well, the new, if it makes you feel any better, Brian, the new Baldur's Gate is more like Dragon Age, and less like old Baldur's Gate.
That game is developed by Crazy Goat Games. So respect. Not only was it a small team, but it was a small team of goats, no
Man, if
humans.
goats made this, the world's over, man. It's only a matter of time before they're making new
Specifically the Goat Simulator goats.
the Goat Simulator goats. P keeps publishing it, so I
A
mean it's a strategy game. It
Hom-inspired
looks
adventure.
okay. I'm not
Yeah,
super into this, but
it's HOMM inspired.
hmm.
Hom. All
Okay,
right,
what's
next
next
we
on the
have
list?
The Rabbit Crazy Adventure.
The rabbit?
And no, this one I didn't see in the coming soon, so who knows if it's here. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows?
The rabbit? No, the
R.I.P.
rabbits.
in peace, Rabbit.
Bunny Park.
What the hell is a
Weapons
Pac-Man
here.
doing?
That's Crazy Ball Adventures.
Ah,
It's
all right.
the Rabbit Crazy Adventure, right?
Yes. And it's all just normally spelled, nothing fancy or goofy. This is where we find out it's a AAA bombshell of a game. The next GTA.
uh, um,
Like I said,
moving
the
on.
next GTA.
Where is the? There we go. What's next?
The, the next game is Acceptance, which is what PlayStation fans need to have when other people are allowed to play the games. Acceptance.
Extra acceptance, acceptance. So these movies, I have a lot here.
I'll be able to tell once it catches up.
Extra acceptance into Hair Cutie Academy. What?
ACCEPTANCE. I believe it's just Acceptance.
These look like movies.
If you see Accepted, that is a movie. It's a great movie.
The first one says Everwood. I think these are names of episodes in these shows, so maybe it's not up there yet. Okay.
Huh.
Keep your secrets.
Find that. Keep your secret.
If it
Next
look here.
is. Oh, sorry. Go on. Your secrets are safe from no one.
It has achievements, apparently.
Oh,
I think it's
get fucked secrets.
okay.
Okay.
No August 11th. Here we go. Got screenshots. It looks like some sort of psychological
This
game.
man is having a bad time. Look at all
He's
those
got to
lines
come
of
to
dots.
acceptance.
Eh.
Interesting.
I'm assuming he's trying to accept that he's dead, based on the free key images I've seen.
Maybe.
Oh, dude,
I
it's
don't
talking
know. I
Slenderman.
don't think I have anything here. There's just an achievement list. Let's go back to search. Okay, sorry. What was the next one we are looking for?
Next one is AERY. Airy. It is on the store, I believe.
Uh,
Because I swear I've seen it. Although I don't see it in the coming soon
sorry,
here. Oh,
AE?
wait, there it is. AERY. I see Airy, the flow of time, but not the heaven and hell one.
There's a bunch here.
Oh, God.
I
The
got
one that's coming the
Vikings, Cob
11th.
Mine 3, Little Bird Adventures, The Last Day of Earth, The Lost Hero.
This one's heaven and hell. So none of those. And the
Hey,
other
hey
one
over
that I
here.
see on here is flow of time. They're both AERY. I feel like this was one where you're like a bird and you collect feathers or something. I feel like we looked at it once. Or one of the versions.
I mean, it looks like something. I can't tell you what, but it looks like something.
You may be surprised to find there's images. There may be colors and or shapes.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at. There's a few of these games though, so maybe there's someone who likes them. Okay, what's next?
Bright Lights of Svitlov. And I think we checked this one out last week. Because I remember last week was really slow and there was literally nothing. So we kind of jumped ahead a bit.
Bright lights of Svitlov? Oh yeah, but this is no,
Yes, Svitolf.
no. This is a different game.
Is it? I can't remember.
I don't remember looking at this one. I remember the other one where you were like the mob boss and you're trying to get
Yeah,
quotes
I do remember that.
quotes or whatever. It's like almost sounds dirty, but it's not.
Yeah, there was like a pig guy.
Yeah.
I think we looked this one up last week, but didn't find it because the name sounds really familiar.
Sometimes you.
But only sometimes. Other times, not so much. Oh, this next one's a keeper.
An ordinary fact that will face difficulties. Okay. Of a boring life. It sounds like a depression simulator. I don't need
Hell
that in my
yeah.
life right
So it's
now.
just a simulation of real life?
It's a puzzle trivia game. Puzzle game. What's next on the docket?
Up next, we have Cube Airport, which I hope is just a
Cube
very
with a
boring airport.
cube with a
Uh, CUBE.
okay.
I hope it's a boring airport simulator that's super realistic, but everyone is just like a square.
Literally. I got
I mean,
nothing.
shit, I'd play it. Oh,
Let's see. Let's try here. True
I see a
achievements seem to have
Rubik's
other
Cube.
ones.
Yeah, they seem to be on their shit. Unlike the actual store. Oh, the irony.
We have achievements for it. No, they just hunt for achievements, right? Oh, it's a puzzle game. It looks like you build stuff with cubes.
See, that sounds cute and all, but I was hoping for a boring airport simulator. But fine, give me a game.
Give me
Whatever.
game. Okay, Cube Airport. Not for me. If you like simulation games, again, we have no
Yeah,
description or anything. Not even a video.
yeah,
So
we're trying our best. Next is the super popular Fruit Adventure. Got quite a few AAA bangers this week.
Fruit Adventure. Are you doing something? I am a fruit. Wait, what?
I'm delicious.
Excuse me? What? Uh,
You broke it. It sensed that you had become a fruit, and fruit does not need access to the computer.
okay, there we go. Got it. Oh, all right. Um,
I'm a delicious fruit.
why do I feel like
50.
this is one of those games that's trying to be, like it's like game theory bait.
But that's just a theory. A fruit theory. Thanks for watching.
Look, I'm not
Next we
saying that
have,
people make games just to get MatPat to make videos on them, but
but I'm also not
people
saying
totally
that.
make games to try and get MatPat to talk about them.
Yeah,
And I feel
which
like
is
the
great
games that they didn't,
publicity.
I feel like you should stop doing that
Yeah.
because the games that he will talk about are the ones that are much more interesting.
Yeah.
Just something good.
Next we have World Soccer Pinball. And I
What?
know this one's there. Well, you see, it's soccer, but pinball.
Is this not the wait? Is this not the pimp? Oh, it is
No, I
them.
don't
Never
think.
mind. It
Oh
is.
no, it
It
is.
is. It's the same
I didn't
guys.
think it was, and then all of a sudden I check. I'm like, oh no, no, that's it.
No, it's them.
Oh,
It's the
if I
pinball
knew
guys.
that, I was gonna make a much different joke, but that's fine. More pinball.
More pinball.
I should just assume now, no one besides these guys makes pinball games anymore.
Yeah. Honestly, if you like pinball, it's probably cool. Anyway, there
Yeah.
we said the whole thing about it. It's pinball soccer. It's by the same guys who make all the pinball games on Xbox.
Yep, like the pirate one. Gotta remember that one.
Why are you saying we won't get games like Galgun and that? It's gonna be weird, but maybe it's possible. We did get Gal Guardians or Grim Guardians, or whatever you want to call it. Are we getting that weird
We got Galgrim and Guardians.
we got the Demon Purge game with
Yeah,
the girls that aren't wearing underwear the entire time.
and we got the Persona, which apparently has partial nudity, even though
Persona.
we didn't know.
I couldn't place it. I couldn't tell you when the partial nudity happens in that game.
Oh, the only thing I could think of was some monsters technically don't wear clothes, but things are covered because of their skin, like the succubus, as if we're getting free titty. Anyway, next is Astro Flame Starfighter. And this one is on the store twice.
There's a Series X version and a not
Yeah, but
Series
they're
X
both
version.
yeah, but they're both the same price. So like,
You were
why?
too
Just
lazy to make two versions. Make one version of the game with smart
yeah,
delivery.
exactly. Well, sometimes there's a secret banger that you never know, and then you try it and you're like, oh my
I
God, it's actually
mean,
really
we did
good.
find that really cool. The
Stray Gods, the role play.
Stray Gods is really cool. We also found Guilt,
Yeah,
Miracle Snack Shop.
there's a
We
few
found
that
some
are
pretty
just
cool shot games by just
yeah, they
like,
pop up out of nowhere, and
yeah.
we go in planning to make fun of them, and then we're like, oh, all right, fine, be a good
Welcome
game.
to Astro Flame Starfighter. I don't know how you have flames in space. I mean, it's fine. It's a space fighting shooter. What else do we have?
Next is Black Skylands, the Founders Edition. Now, this is not Skylanders. This is just Skylands. No
Oh,
Spyros allowed here.
oh, what's this?
Starfield is soon.
Tiny Build role playing game.
Oh wait, now this looks familiar. Now that I've seen the girl on the cover, I think I scrolled past this earlier. Did I? Yes. No. Yes. It
How
looks
can I
different on the
help you, Gideon?
picture. She's got a gun. Yeah, the thing it shows me is it says you get a hook and a special chest and steel and a bow. But it
There's
doesn't tell
just
me anything
dead
about the
people all
game.
over the place here.
Rated D for dead.
Rated double D. Or dead.
I mean, I like the art style and the top-down view isn't bad. It kind of looks cool. I just wish I knew what the fuck was going on.
We have a description this time.
We do.
Embark on a skybound journey with the exclusive Founders Edition of Black Skyland. This special package is tailored for the true pioneers of the sky, and don't miss out. It's available for a limited time upon the game's release. Hold on. Prepare to embark. Okay, hold on. I have a problem here, ladies and gentlemen.
What? That you're gonna embark, but then you
That I'm
also have to
supposed to
prepare to
embark,
embark.
and then I have to prepare to embark after
No,
embarking on
you
my
should
journey.
be preparing way first.
Jesus. Prepare to embark on a remarkable journey as Eva, a skilled and valiant young marshal, fighting to protect her people from the invading falcons and swarm. Command your airship, gather resources to upgrade your flying base, and engage in thrilling battles beneath your ship's sails. Brace yourself as you embark on a daring quest to uncover the hidden mysteries concealed within the darkened clouds.
It looks interesting. Looking at this picture, it looks like there's mini islands that you go in between with your little flying ship, and you're taking on bigger ships, and I assume you're taking pieces of them to upgrade yours, because this ship looks much bigger than the other picture.
I don't think he is. Are you playing a game right now? I thought you were looking at games.
I'm scrolling through the pictures.
Yeah, he's scrolling through stuff. What's next?
Uh, where was I? Everspace 2.
Everspace!
Now, you may have heard of this
Two. Oh,
tiny
sorry.
game.
Two. It actually is an indie game.
Yeah, but it's definitely not tiny.
No. It's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, why do I not see it in the coming soon section?
Everspace 2. Man, I've typed it in all caps as a joke, but it's actually spelled in all caps.
When's
Everspace
the
2
release
is a
date for that?
fast-paced single-player spaceship shooter with worthwhile exploration in space and planets. Tons of loot, RPG elements, mining, crafting, experience, thoughtful science fiction story. Set in a vivid, handcrafted open world full of secrets, puzzles, and peril. Okay, I should stop that voice. Stop. In the campaign, you'll make friends until you're. Okay, you can do it. In the campaign, you'll make some friends with their own stories to tell, and they will join you on side missions and provide certain benefits in the end game when Thanos shows up. Where vicious encounters and brutal challenge will stand between you and the next epic loop drop. Okay. Let the
I
lasers
don't
do the
see
talking.
it though. When does it say it's coming out? Because it on here it tells me it's the 15th, but I'm curious what the store says.
On sale. Is this the PC version? It says
Oh
install
yeah.
with install 2 with. Is it already out?
Well, that one says playable on PC.
I can check the PC
Let me
store
search on
quick.
Xbox.
Everspace accidentally hit 3 instead of 2.
So I see the first one here. I don't see the second one. I see the first one and
It
an
is
expansion.
installable on PC right now.
Yeah, but it's not on Xbox anywhere, which is weird.
It says install
Just the first
2.
game in the
I'm actually gonna just switch off of this for a second and hit the install 2 because I don't know how to give IP addresses and stuff. I don't want to
yeah.
give out info I don't need to. Install 2. It gave me
Yeah,
something
on
weird.
Xbox, all I see is Everspace and the expansion. I can't find the second one anywhere,
Yeah,
which is weird because I remember them bringing it up.
it is on PC right now. You can play it right now on PC. So I guess
Yeah,
the
but I mean,
PC
I can't
version's out,
see it
but
in
the
the.
console version's not out yet. You have a
Yeah, it
date.
says August 15th, but I don't see anything on the store.
Go to the mobile app here.
So. Hmm.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or it won't load at all. Never mind. Oh, now it
Coo
loads.
coo. It heard you talking shit.
Everspace 2 just comes with PC right now.
Yeah, I guess.
So I guess it's not up yet. Alright.
Yeah.
So maybe your date is correct. Maybe it's
Who
not.
knows? Yeah, maybe it got delayed. I don't know.
Who
Next
knows
after
at this
that,
rate?
though, is Moving Out 2. The Moving Out name.
Really?
What?
Oh, movie. I was thinking. Sorry, I was thinking of another game.
Oh, gotcha.
Moving out to.
Oh, yeah, there's Saving Cock. It already came out.
Looks just as wacky as the first one. I was thinking of Unpacking.
Yeah,
For some
I've
reason,
mixed
it's
those
the
up
first
before.
game that came into my head because I don't think I played Unpacking one.
Now, is this one
Or
local
moving.
still, or did they manage to make it online multiplayer yet? Because that was my one
It does
gripe
have
with the
online
first
co
one.
op now.
Okay. Because it was looking fun before, but I was like, I can't play this alone, and I don't have anyone to play with locally.
What does fart stand for?
What?
Moving Out is the wacky sequel to the world famous physics based moving simulator. Working solo as a fart or with up to
Maybe it's
three
an
friends.
inside joke. I wonder if the
Uh,
description for the
it's
first
right
game has
here
anything.
again. It comes up right here. Moving Out 2 will feature an entire new cast of extra lovable characters. Because Smooth Moves have signed up with fart recruits. It's gotta be an in-game joke.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's moving out
Oh, I
too.
found it. For the first game, it says, "Are you ready for an exciting career in furniture? As a newly certified furniture arrangement and relocation technician." So, fart. That's what it stands for.
Billy's. All right. Anything else?
Not within a week. After that, it'll be the 16th.
And that'll put
So,
us out of range, right? We'll be back. Should be
yes.
back at a normal time next week.
Yeah.
Yep. It's some okay stuff coming. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say
I mean,
anything that's like super great or super bad.
all the big stuff's coming near the end of the month. That's when we have like Blasphemous 2,
Summer's.
Ride 5, Shocking King, Armored Core, See Your Stars.
I'm not going to be buying Armored Core at launch. There's just too many games to play right now.
Phasmophobia is coming sometime this month too.
When's Do we have a release date yet on Space Marine 2? It's supposed to be this year, but like we're running out of year.
I don't think so yet. Let me see if that's in the 2023 to be decided. What's the Space Marines subtitle?
Just Space Marine 2. I don't think it
Oh,
has
okay,
a
here it is.
subtitle.
It's under Warhammer 40K first, not just Space
Yeah,
Marine.
Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Then the first game, does it have the 40k? It's like really small. I have the PS3 version right here, but the Xbox version somewhere. Like it's you barely
So
see it.
far, it doesn't have a specific release date yet. It just says coming this year. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's still
Um,
just under to be announced.
Hopefully they announce it soon, or if it's gonna get moved to next year or not. I don't know what's happening with it. It looks really cool.
I mean, there's still 4 months left,
It's
but
gonna have online co-op, so that's sick too.
yeah.
Yeah, there's still 4 months left in the year, and we still have a show to plan.
Yeah.
No
So who
pressure.
knows?
Pressure. That's why I wanted to start it early.
Yeah.
Start
The always ever
nominating your
changing
games,
world.
kids.
Kiddos, squiddos, and kiddos.
Start nominating those games.
And then tell your friends to vote for your game. But don't tell them there's a show, or else they'll vote for their own game.
Someone's gonna win. All right, I think that's it.
Yeah, it wasn't too much this week, and we definitely still talked for quite a while. About
Well,
4 hours.
the ESRB kind of took us on a weird tangent
Yeah,
of
but
waiting for this.
I think we got some good discussion out of that at least. It wasn't just like, you know, dead silence for an hour.
No, no, no. It'll be interesting to see what comes up this week since Gust is going to have their event, and we're going to hear about
Yes.
the new alchemist taking over.
And if they happen, and I have very low expectations, but if they happen to announce anything Xbox related, that'd be a big get. It'd be a big win.
Yeah, it would be a huge get. Absolutely massive. Is it going to happen? I don't think so, but
Yeah,
you
odds
never
are
know.
1 or 2 out of 10. But you know
Well,
what?
the thing is, Gamescom is still a couple weeks away.
Yeah, plus the Tokyo Game Show. There's
TGS is in
plenty of
September.
chances. What
Exactly
happened?
3 weeks away is the end of
Oh,
Gamescom. So Gamescom is the end. That's 2 weeks away. Yeah,
yeah.
And then Tokyo Game Show's sometime in September.
Yep. There's still a lot of stuff coming this year.
Yeah, but it is dinner time. So until next time, everybody.
Have a
Matane.
good day.